Out of the far side, Hyman trying to pass it to Draisaitl. Blocked by the stick of ball. Nugent Hopkins retrieves. Nugent Hopkins hit that spot. Inside out. Donovan inside out. This is fantastic. Handing it off. Four. Gets it right.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Nugent Hopkins retrieves. Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins now. Draisaitl flips it. He scores. Just boom for a puck to go. And Draisaitl hit that spot.
Sports 1440.
Unbelievable. That's big and unbelievable. Donovan inside.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gets it right back. Now to Shifley once more. Shifley, Cavalardi. That's across. Scores. Puts it to the net. Jets.
Well, a hot Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, on the app, or a radio player, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Thank you. Hope you are having a better day than the Oilers have had a season against the Calgary Flames, lose for the third time in 4 games to the Calgary freaking Flames. Not good. So there is lots to discuss on the show today. We will, Landon Ferraro is going to be by. We got David Owens, Terry Ryan, Matt Larkin, Livingston, Eric Engels will be by. We got Speck, Michael Hurley from CBS Sports, talk a little Patriots as we're getting closer and closer to Super Bowl. We got 5 questions. We're going to hear from Leon Draisaitl. Man, he got people fired up. Like, the best place to go for overreaction, if you love overreaction, is social media. The best place to avoid, if you don't want to see overreaction, is social media. Because, man, if you didn't hear the words, but you read what people thought, oh my God, Leon Draisaitl, he just rips his coach, rips the goalie, and put them all on notice. You're terrible. That's what people were saying. Oh my God, Knobloch's going to get fired. Like it's now, I think some of the people, it's because deep down they're like, well, change the coach again. That's the problem. Right? Like, how many coaches do you have to go to? Is this new? Is this new to Oiler fans that their team struggles defensively? It's not new. And you can have a coach and he can put in the same systems, but at the end of the day, if the players do not commit to playing defense, this is what happens. So let's start. Conj, you tell me when we got Leon Draisaitl ready, because I want to listen to everything. So then you can go because I think there's a few things out there that are misleading. First of all, did Leon Draisaitl, was he even upset? No, he was very calm. And he was very direct. But mostly he was truthful. The Edmonton Oilers cannot defend consistently. Now, he's not the first one to say it. I've been saying it on this show for months. But when your leader says it, it should carry a little bit more weight. No question. So let's get to Leon Draisaitl. So just his thoughts, first of all, just on another disappointing loss for the Oilers.
I don't know. We're just giving up too many goals. I don't know. Just can't defend. Penalty kill is not great. But there's many things that are part of it. It's just not good enough right now.
Okay. It's not good enough right now. Can't defend. Penalty kill. We're giving up too many goals. Like almost exasperated. Giving up too many goals. Does anyone disagree with anything he said there? I don't think so. Now, earlier after the game, Tristan Jarry had said, hey, you know what? I got to be better, which, of course, he needs to be better. He made some big saves because the Oilers keep giving up too many damn breakaways, and all of a sudden, their penalty kill. Like, how do you allow two stretch passes in not consecutive games, but Minnesota and now Calgary? What? I can tell you, guaranteed, you're not coached to do that. Sleep at the wheel. Your penalty kill, it's funny how quickly it falls. Because it was actually extremely consistent. First 26 games, next 26 games. And then the last 6 games have been a freaking disaster. The Calgary Flames scored 2 power play goals in a row on you. What? The game before, Toronto, 2 for 2. The game before that, Minnesota, 2 for 3. You allow 6 goals on 7 power play chances consecutively? It's awful. So Tristan Jarry said, hey, I need to be better. So Draisaitl was asked about the comments from the goalie that he needs to be better.
It goes hand in hand. Like we got to defend better. We got to make it easier on him, and then I'm sure he can be a little bit better too. It's a two-way street, but it starts with us in front of him, and then the game becomes a little bit easier for him. But I think there's saves that our goalies need to make at some point.
Yeah, nothing scathing. He's not calling out his goalie. He's telling the truth. Hey, guess what? What was his first response? Two-way street. It's not just the goalie, just like it's not just the defenders in front of him. It's both. Tristan Jarry made a few big saves, and he let in 2 goals last night. Like the first goal, I'm sorry. You can't get beat from there. I didn't like the last goal either by Lomberg. In a 3-3 game, like, sorry. I don't love that goal. Pops out a rebound. And lastly, just, finding their game and how crucial it is for this team right now.
Not consistent enough, and it just leaks too hard, to just like lollygag through games and try to get winning streaks going. You need everybody. It starts with coaches, like everybody. Like you're never going to win if you have 4 or 5 guys going, and it starts at the top. We can be better. Our leaders can be better, and we'll take the break and regroup.
So there you go. He's not calling out his coach, just saying the coaches need to be better, and they do. And the first thing that Chris Knobloch needs to do is stop going to Draisaitl and McDavid full time. You want to do it after a penalty kill? No problem. You want to do it in the an offensive zone face-off the final 30 seconds of the period? Okay, I can live with it. You want to do it when you're trailing by a goal for the last 7 minutes of a game? Sure. Stop doing it in the first and second period. It's not working. Okay? It's not working. So I'm sorry, but that's coaching. And even if those guys want to play together, I'm going to say no. The team is better when one of you is on the ice for more minutes in a game. That's just a fact. And the other thing is, they're not the nuclear option that they were last year. Okay? They're not. So as a coach, you have to adapt. Draisaitl and McDavid have played 292 minutes together 5-on-5 this year when they're on the ice together. 292, pretty big sample size. Guess what? 17 goals for, 16 goals against. They're +1 at 5-on-5. I don't care what the shots are. It's results at the end of the day. Right? And here's the thing. Their expected goals is only 18 and they've scored 17. So it's not like they're just, having tough luck. That's kind of what they are offensively. So it's not good enough. Connor McDavid away from Draisaitl is 35-32. Draisaitl away from McDavid is 35-26. So in 609 minutes, he's +9. Keep them apart. What are you doing? Right? It does. This is not 2024. Okay. For whatever reason, hasn't worked this year. So as a coach, you adapt. You can't just keep hammering it out saying, you know what? Oh, it's going to be like last year. Hey, I get last year. They were 31-18 in 406 minutes. Scored more goals. Didn't give up as much. Great. But not this year. It's not working. So stop doing it. That's coaching. It's not just say, well, geez, you know what? Eventually it's going to work. No, it's 58 freaking games. It hasn't worked. So stop doing it. That's what coaching is. All right. Have a conversation. Is Mark Stewart ready to be your defense coach and your penalty kill coach? Now, the penalty kill is weird to me because it was actually pretty consistent for the first 51 games. 80.6 in the first 2 months, 80.6 in the next 25 games. 26 games, 25 games. That's pretty good sample size. And now it has fallen apart. So what changes you're making? Right. Well, first of all, instruct your team not to give up a stretch pass on a penalty kill, for God's sakes. How do you let guys behind you? Like, why is your defenseman up at center ice? What are you doing? You don't need to do that. That's coaching. Right? Who is the hammer amongst your coaching staff? That's what I like. Like, you got to have one. Paul Coffey could be the jerk that you need every now. You need one, right? You need one. The power play is fine. I'm not even questioning the power play. It's fine. We know that. It's best in the league. So that's where coaching comes in. Then you come into goaltending. Now, if I wanted to, I could reach around and give a real big pat on the back because I think I told people who all were like, Stuart Skinner's a problem. Get rid of Stuart Skinner and everything will be solved. And I'm like, could Stuart Skinner play better? Yes. But if you think the team in front of him wasn't just as much of an issue, then I don't think you're paying attention. And look what happened. Stuart Skinner left. What stayed the same? Inconsistent defending. So unless you think you're going to get Sorokin or Vasilevsky or some miracle goalie that can just stand on his head as you continue to give up odd man rushes and wide open looks in the slot or breakaways, it's not going to happen. Now, can Tristan Jarry play better? Yes. But it's not just him. Mike, if you haven't learned that it's not just the goalie, then I can't help you. That's a you issue. And some you issues you got to stick with. You got to figure it out yourself. But can't say I told you so. Well, actually, I can. I probably should. Because the truth of the matter is, it's the same thing. They will have stretches where they play pretty good defensively. And then they will have stretches where they can't defend to save their life. Is that coaching? No. It's a group mentality. And it's a commitment to wanting to do the right play more often than not. You'll never do the right play all the time. Otherwise, hockey would be boring. And it's virtually impossible to do it. But when the Oilers get in a funk, they can really funk. Okay? That's the fact. No one can be funkier than the Oilers defensively when they want to be. You want to be a train wreck? You want to be a disaster defensively? You'll put the Oilers at their worst against any team in the league, and they can outfunk you. No question. They can. And they've shown it. And they're doing it again. Giving up way too much. Yeah, their goalie's got to make more saves. Jari, since he's come here, hasn't made enough of them. He'll make a big save, and then he'll just let in too many squeakers. Get rid of the squeakers. Right? Sorry. This isn't a fart competition. Get rid of them. Be better. Be more consistent. All the players are going to go. They got their break for a week. That's fine. Get away. Get on the beach. Do whatever. But when they return to the ice for practice, they're going to have 6 days to get focused. They're lucky that despite playing this poorly, this inconsistently, that they're still not only in the race for the playoffs, they're still in the race for home ice advantage in the playoffs, right? They're 2 points back of Vegas, but the Golden Knights have 2 games in hand, right? So that could easily suddenly stretch up to 8. So not ideal. But the Kraken, they're a game behind them. They have 2 games in hand. The Ducks, 2 games in hand. Like if these teams win their games in hand, the Oilers would be out of the playoffs. Now, they're not all going to win all their games in hand. But the Oilers are far from overly safe right now. So as Leon Draisaitl said, they need to wake up. But I don't want to get into this, he called them out. And, now the coaches, they're going to fire the coach. They're not going to fire the coach. The coach can play better. The coach can coach better. He can make better decisions. He can stop going to the nuclear. Just stop it. I don't know. Get a safe word on the bench. Romeo. The minute the coach is wanting to say McDavid, Draisaitl, some other coach can yell out the safe word. So you stop. Okay? He needs one. He clearly needs one because he can't control himself. He can't do, oh my God, we're down a goal. It's only 12 minutes in the game. McDavid, Draisaitl. Like, come on. He can't do it anymore. It's what you have to do. It's just, you have to do it. So stop loading them up. It's not working. Proof's in the pudding. It ain't working. So stop doing it. Look at another option. You've got other players. And here's the thing. Draisaitl plays fine on his own. Keep him there. He'll be okay. He will be okay. But to me, that's not calling out. It's, oh my God, the goaltending's got to be better. Defense has to play better. Coaching has to be better. Forwards need to be better. They all need to be better. Right? The only thing that would get a pass is the power play. That's it. It's the only thing that's been consistent all season long. Well, other than their inconsistency in other positions. And you know what? Maybe it was a good thing for this team to get their ass handed to them 3 in a row before they go on a break. So they'll be sitting on the beach and they'll still be thinking about it. For whatever reason, it seems to be the MO of this team that they almost need to crash out before they start to climb back out of it. And this one will last longer. They're going to have to come back. They're going to have to practice. And, whatever the standings finally are after tonight, because there's 7 games in the NHL tonight. And, that'll have an impact for sure on the standings. Now, the only teams that play tonight are LA and Vegas. And so if Vegas wins, well, then Edmonton knows, guess what? Now we're 6 points out of first place. Sorry, 4 points out of first place. If LA wins, yeah, you're 2 points out of first, but the LA Kings are now suddenly, you're 2 points out of being in 9th place. That's how close it would be. Go up 2 points, first place. Go down 2 points, 9th place. That's where they'd be at. So they're right in the thick of it, but it's far from safe. And I can look at a lot of areas of this team that needs to improve on. And I like the fact that Draisaitl calmly just outlined it. We got to be better. Giving up too many goals. Leaders got to be better. Coaches got to. And he's right. Nothing that he said was wrong. Nothing that he said was, I think, directed at one individual more than anyone else. I thought he did a great job of including every part of the team. Leaders, coaches, defending, goaltending, everyone. Because they got to be better. And they got 24 games to figure it out. Coming up on the show, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll hear from Landon Ferraro, Dave Owens, and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song where we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Make your game day feast better with Papa John's. Create a mouth-watering pizza lineup with buffalo chicken, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, or create your own pizza possibilities. Now through Sunday, February 8th, get 25% off pizzas at regular menu price with the promo code BIGGAME at any location in Alberta. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app with promo code BIGGAME. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. And even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new RV stores are bragging about the latest makes and models.
That's right, Bob. Those beautiful state-of-the-art RVs are brand new right up until the time they leave the showroom. Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot, somebody pays full price at the RV show or at the new RV store, and in a matter of seconds, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up.
Where does all that money go, Rick?
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Wondering what to get your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? How about the gift of from Metal Supermarkets? They sell it, cut it, and bend it fast. Nothing says love like a sheet of solid steel to last a lifetime, just like your affection. Or you could do the old box of chocolate thing. So predictable. Be better. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $9.99. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.223, we continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having an awesome day. It is Thursday, of course. The Olympics have officially begun, and kind of an oddity in the Olympics. Team Canada was to face Finland in women's hockey, but the Finnish team was very sick, and they didn't have to forfeit the game. They postponed the game, which is rare, but basically the reason was they felt like, yeah, had we played, because if they would have forced them to forfeit, then the Finns would have played, and then they were worried that they would have got Team Canada sick. So I think they had extra time, so they've rescheduled that game until I think it's on the 12th, Cons, if I saw that correctly. So
yeah. The norovirus going through the Finnish team. So
yikes!
You're not going to risk it with that.
No. So they have changed it for that. Now it is interesting. You look, and I've seen the studies of lots of countries who used to host the Winter Olympics. Right now they couldn't host it because they don't have enough winter conditions to host it. Snow, everything else. It is it's kind of wild to see. But nonetheless, Canada, if you were looking to, hey, where's the women's game? Well, it got postponed for a week. USA did beat Czechia 5-1 today. 833-401-1440. Got a lot of text to get to. 833-401-1440. Let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. Looking for a car, truck, SUV, brand new, used? Well, they have it all. Over 15,000 vehicles, 71 locations, over 31 different brands. Any type of ride that you want to ride in style, they have it. GoAuto.ca. Landon Ferraro, pre- and post-game analyst there on Sports 1440, also does the Canucks games on Sportsnet. Joins us. And Landon, I saw initially last night, a lot of people, oh my God, Leon Draisaitl. And then I listened to it today and I was like, geez, I didn't think he would lambaste anybody. He was pretty calm, just very direct. We don't defend well. Coaches need to be better. Leaders need to be better. Goalies need to be better. Defense needs to be better. Pretty much summed up every element of the team that needs to be better.
Yeah, and I'd say he's pretty correct on it, right? Like over the last, well, not even though I was about to say over the last few games, but this entire season has been, good followed by slip back. Good followed by slip back. And again, I think the frustration for me over the last 2 years of doing the pre and post with you guys and obviously watching all the games is the fact that like their team is just far better than what we all see in the regular season. Like they elevate at playoff time, but you always run the risk of like, what if that doesn't happen? This is a very different year. Everyone needs to make sure that they get themselves ready for when they get back from break because they don't have time to be slow coming out of a break like they're notoriously known for. They need to be out and ready to get moving. Like things are way too tight this year. And again, they easily are good enough to be going on bigger winning streaks. And looking at the standings at the break here, like there's no reason that they don't have 3 or 4 more wins through the season. They've played well enough. They've just given some games away. And for Draisaitl to say all that last night, it's also just in his nature. Like he's going to say what he sees. It's not good enough, himself included, and the entire team needs to be better.
Yeah. I look at a few things. So I want to start the changes I think coaches can make. Knobloch, and I jokingly said he needs a safe word for himself. He needs to stop Draisaitl McDavid. Just stop it. I don't need to see it other than a shift after a penalty kill or in when you're trailing for the final 6-7 minutes. I don't need to see it in the first period. I don't need to see it in the second period. I don't need to see it in the first half of the third period. It's not working. They're +1. Draisaitl's +9 5-on-5 away from McDavid. It's making your team worse, and the coach just has yet to realize it. The numbers are there. The numbers are there. The results are there. So just stop it. Just keep them on their own lines. That'd be number one.
And I agree with you like 100% on that point, but I'd add in the point of, and it's the same thing that I was saying all last year, that when you go to that all the time, to me, like if I was sitting on that bench, I'm like, not that I'm not already thinking it a little bit of like, man, these two are our entire team and we're just kind of here. But when you keep switching back to that, like I feel like it would just make everyone be like, well, what is the point of the rest of us? If you don't think any of us can do it, you're just doing like putting them back together, saying they'll figure it out. You guys just kind of hold court while you're there. Like it doesn't exactly breed the most team first feeling, really, right? Like guys need their roles, they need their jobs. They don't have to be thinking every game, if things go bad for a half a period, is everything getting shuffled around again? Like there's just too much that can be going on in their head. Like for the longest time, like this team has needed some stability, whether that injury has caused that or Knobloch constantly moving lines around. Like there needs to be more continuous, lines staying the same.
Well, I think like last night, he started Nugent Hopkins as a third line center, and then it didn't last very long. And I'm like, it's not like the game was out of hand at any point here. And they'd actually generated some good chances. So he needs to look at every player has to evaluate themselves. And right now, that is his weakness. He can't stop himself from going to McDavid and Draisaitl. So I don't know if he needs another coach or someone else. And I don't even know if the players are wanting it, but either way, that should be that would be the one change. Is there anything else you'd see systemically or tactically that he should change coming out of the break?
I mean, just trying to really emphasize, like the Oilers, they can't be a one and done team all the time, right? Like they're so good at possessing the puck, but when things aren't going right, whether it's their forecheck and everyone just kind of goes to where they think the play is going to end up. And like they're all or nothing on that play. So if there's a little variation or a bit of a mess up in that play, like they're beat and now they're getting moved up the ice fast and having to defend off the rush. In the D zone, the amount of, okay, I'm going out to block that shot, but really I'm kind of hoping it hits me and I'm going on that breakaway. And then they do that little flyby and a turn instead of a stop and start to get back into the lane and into the play quicker. Like to me, they're always, even on the PK, like they get so, it almost seems like they're more worried about trying to find some offense on the PK than just kill the penalty first. Like your team scores enough goals that you don't need to find ways to score on the PK. Some will present themselves anyway, but my whole point in it is, like, you don't always have to take, when you have two choices to make on the ice, you're making the decision, you don't always have to make the risky one. Like, you can take a bit more of the safe play because, again, your team is going to generate offense. You don't need to try and force it at any point.
Yes, I would agree with that. What's odd about the penalty kill was the first 51 games, they were 11th best in the NHL at 80.6%. And they were 80.6 in the first 2 months, 26 games, and they were 80.6 in the next 25. Then they've fallen off. And you look at like the Anaheim game, they had two awful clearing attempts by Nurse and Bouchard that normally should get out. They didn't get out. They scored right after. Then they've had the Minnesota game and against Calgary, all of a sudden, I don't know, their defense are sleeping. And they're getting stretch pass. Like you don't see stretch passes on a power play very often that I can recall. Like I can't recall the last time a team did it, except it's happened 2 of the last 3 games for goodness sakes. Right. So to me, there's another thing, maybe like Mark Stewart, he's running their defense and your penalty kill. And, neither is great right now. The penalty kill was okay up until lately, but there's one where he's got to have to look and say, okay, what do we got to do better on the penalty kill? Because through the neutral zone, suddenly they're getting murdered.
Yeah, like the stretch pass on the penalty kill. I remember the last time I got burnt by one of those. It was early in my last season. And the reason I say that is to emphasize your point, like it does not happen very often. And the reason that it does is you've completely fallen asleep, right? Like, especially for the defenseman when you're back there, you have the entire play in front of you. Your eyes are trained to quickly count, all right? How many guys are in a different jersey in front of me? Okay, well, there's not enough in front. There's got to be someone beside me or behind me, right? So, like, that's just scanning and recognizing the situation. But if your mind's not fully in on it, you're going to make those little mistakes. You know, for the PK, like the first goal, they were fine. It was like that goal just can't go in from that point on the ice. You know, I think Jari needs to have that one. But again, like all of it to me is, not all of it, but the majority of it to me is just that they are so worried about finding an offensive play out of it, creating a turnover and going on the odd man rush or getting that breakaway, that they don't, it's not that they don't do the first job, but they're not in position for it because they'll take the extra couple steps trying to poke check it off instead of just steering the play to the direction than already being in the lane, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I understand that. Offensively, when they come out of the break, I would hope that Nugent Hopkins is going to be the third line center, and he'll stick as a third line center. I didn't love Podkolzin and Hyman with McDavid, to be honest. I like Podkolzin with Draisaitl. And I like Podkolzin on one line. I like Hyman on another. And I like I would have Kapanen with McDavid. With Nugent Hopkins. Because now I got a bigger physical guy in every line. They can all skate. And then I have Roslovic. I have Savoy. And figure out who the other top 9 is. And away you go at that point. That's what I would do. Is there any combinations that you would like to see coming out of the break?
Honestly, I'm with you. Like for me, the biggest one is Nugent Hopkins needs to be that third line center. Like you need to create that depth, and it's the best option for it. You know, I agree. Podkolzin needs to stay with Draisaitl. They play a slower game, and Podkolzin is built for that. And that's not like chirping Podkolzin. There's a lot of guys that can't play with Connor McDavid off of the speed and the way that he wants to roll around. But for Draisaitl, he works so well with Podkolzin because they're big. They can keep people at length. They can stretch things out that way. And you just need to make sure that you have a bit of a speed burner with them. You know, it's tough to say what I'd like the combinations to be because for me, I still think that, well, not that it's like you're not saying it either, but like they still need some pieces. But I hadn't really thought much of Kapanen moving down because I do like him with Draisaitl and Podkolzin a lot. But for me, it's all about getting Nugent Hopkins to that third line. The way that Kapanen's playing, you know, like his biggest knock through his career is consistency and being able to keep his pace up and his production up. Because when he's on, he's a really good player. It's about, can he keep that up? I don't know about you, Gregs, but like he seems different in the games that he's been in this year. Like he seems confident and driven to kind of have that and have the production. So dropping him down, like I really like to see that look with Nugent Hopkins and him. I could see that really working and not even just working, but like really giving the other team trouble and for one of the first times in the past few years, giving other teams another line to talk about, not just get through the first 2 and then we're all right. We can try and score through the next 2. All of a sudden, you've got 3 lines that you've got to really have a plan for.
Joined by Landon Ferraro here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Stan Bowman. Obviously, his job here, the Oilers will return. They'll have 4 games before the trade deadline. They play 3 on the road, Anaheim, LA, and San Jose. Then they're home for 1 game against Ottawa. They've got 2 days off before, 2 days off afterwards. What should be priority number 1 for the GM?
Well, I mean, unless it's all in one move, like you've got to find a way to open up space so that you can make moves. I think a big piece in this, and he's been discussed a ton, is Mangiapane, right? Like that's a lot of cap space that, even at a player at a reduced rate is going to benefit right now, right? Like he needs a change. It's not working. Like they need to find a way to make that be not an issue. And again, if they can package it with whatever move they want to make, but getting a top 6 winger, whether that's a middle 6, but someone with some size that can play with the puck. It was, we were talking about it the other night just because everyone was talking about it. But I mean, like Bobby McMahon came into Edmonton and looked really, really good. And if you could find a way to grab a guy like that adds that type of physicality, but he's going to be a 20-goal scorer again, like that would be massive. For me, I still think they need some help on D. Spencer Stastny's come in and done a pretty good job, but I don't think you want to be going into your playoff run with him and Regula as your extras, kind of rotating in, like some an older veteran defenseman that's been there before that can handle some rough minutes. I think would really benefit as well. That would help the PK as well too.
Yeah. It's going to be because I don't see like Adam Henrique comes in. He'd be your 4th line center, I'm assuming. And then you have, would you have Lazar with him and Janmark? And does Frederick move up and play in the 3rd line? Mangiapane is going to have to go to the minors, I would think, salary cap wise, to make a Henrique recall work unless he gets traded before then. So it'll be interesting to see. But Stan Bowman, like something's got to give just on the salary cap when they return to make it work for Henrique to get back in the lineup against his former team, the Ducks, on the 25th of February.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, right? So, like, they need to figure that out first before they can really get into how to improve the team. They've got to subtract first, and however they can shake that out, they need to get creative and do it the most efficient way possible. But at the end of the day, they need to find some help in the middle of the lineup to add some physicality. Like that's another thing from last night. I can't remember the number exactly, but like the Edmonton hit total was really low. Like not that they need to be a team of bruisers on the forecheck, but especially in the regular season. And I think this goes to a bit of what Draisaitl was saying, like, they need to be better, and like they need to take these games as not as serious because it's not a playoff game, but pretty quickly again, like you're going to put yourself into a really tough situation where all your best players are having to play insane minutes down the stretch, trying to make sure that you're safe and getting in there. Everything's too tight this year. They need to make sure that they're kind of re-energized through the break. They get refocused because they need to get moving instantly. They need to have this figured out, and guys need to be dialed in. And when they go on a forecheck, go finish a check. That doesn't mean that you go try and run the guy through the end boards. But like the whole point of hitting on a forecheck is to make sure that you keep yourself on the defensive side of the puck, right? Like everyone thinks of it as to go punish the D and cause turnovers. And yeah, those are byproducts of it. But the whole initial point of it is just to make sure you get that defenseman off balance and you're on the D side, right? If you're turning consistently away from that guy's jumping up into the play and you're getting burnt off the rush.
Quickly, your thoughts on Panarin to the Kings?
I mean, I like it from just a viewing perspective. Him going from New York to there, it makes a lot of sense. LA's doesn't have that star name power. And, by the numbers and everything, like Panarin's not, is not the guy that, from 7 years ago or so that is just tearing teams apart, but he's still incredibly skilled. He can put the puck in the back of the net. He's also just someone for those guys that when they look around the room, like it gives you a bit of extra boost, right? Like that guy is really good. We've watched his highlights and played against him for a long time. So he just brings in a good feeling and bringing the guys up. But like, again, he adds something that LA doesn't have. They have a pure skill guy that can make plays and make plays at big moments.
And that's before I let you go. This just breaking that Braden Point is out for the Olympics. Seth Jarvis is in. So basically, the two guys who didn't make it, who were there last time, and Jarvis and Bennett replace him. What do you make of the Jarvis replacement, considering the whole plan was to play Point with McDavid? It seems odd to me. Like Seth Jarvis couldn't even play on your team the last time. Why are you bringing him back? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one, to be honest. Like, Jarvis is having another good year. Like, it's nothing off of him, but for the point of Point playing with McDavid, the type of game that he plays, I mean, stylistically, not crazy different from Jarvis, just in the fact of, like, really hard workers, kind of that lower body or center of gravity type bodies that move around. But I don't know how you don't take Hyman out of this. Like it's exactly what your team needs. It needs someone that can play with McDavid. Well, he does that extremely well. He's got to be able to skate and get around the ice well. Hyman does that just fine. He's physical but not over the line. Like, he does everything that you need him to. He can play any situation. I just feel like that's okay, we've snubbed these guys one time. We're not doing it again, is what that almost feels like to me.
Yeah, we'll see. Landon, we'll talk a lot of Olympics with you next week, buddy. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
There you go. That's Landon Ferraro. 2:43. Yes. So no, Zach Hyman. Like, I don't understand Seth Jarvis. You didn't like what he brought the last time. Why are you bringing him back? And unless you're just like, well, we'll bring him to be the 14th forward. Okay. But Point, and I know this for a fact. Even speaking to McDavid, the plan was Point was going to start with him. Well, that's obviously out the window. So, Seth Jarvis isn't going to do it. Zach Hyman definitely could have done it. So, odd to me. But hey, you know what? They got their guys. They're going to stick with their guys. They're probably still going to win. Just a little odd. Quick break. We'll return. Woo. We got a very, very colorful edition. Thursday coming up next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace replacement company for lovers. Because the best aphrodisiac is no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy. So forget about the oysters, baby. If you really want to check the heat, we can be a thermal couple, baby. Give me your sweet loving legacy. Heat things up with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Make your game day feast better with Papa John's. Create a mouth-watering pizza lineup with buffalo chicken, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, or create your own pizza possibilities. Now through Sunday, February 8th, get 25% off pizzas at regular menu price with the promo code BIGGAME at any location in Alberta. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app with promo code BIGGAME. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by playalberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song where we turn the heating on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I want to tell you a story.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.249. We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. NBA fans, he thought maybe some of the huge names would move today. They did not. Giannis did not get traded. Draymond Green did not get traded. So James Harden did get traded earlier in the week, but Giannis not moving. Now maybe he will move to San Antonio in the offseason. We'll see. I'm guessing San Antonio, what they do in the playoffs might impact their decision to go after him or not, potentially in the offseason. We'll see. Now, let's get to Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Brook Liquor. 2 locations, South East Side on 50th Street, 92nd Ave, and, of course, the original location, 118th Ave, St. Albert Trail. If you're looking for cocktails, you're looking for beer, wine, anything non-alcoholic, they have it all. Best selection in the city from all around the world to tickle your palate. That is Brook Liquor, as David Owens joins us once again. Dave, I see we have lots of different parts today. What are we focusing on?
We got lots of different parts here. Yeah, we've got we're going to deconstruct a Negroni, and so I'm really stoked with this. I love Negronis. My wife loves Negronis. I think you mentioned before.
I'm a big fan.
You don't, man, a Negroni.
I like them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the Negroni is a real cool cocktail because it's the classic Negroni is the basis for a whole bunch of other opportunities. And so once you understand that, you can go. So like if that Oilers game left you with that bitterness, that lingering bitter taste in your mouth last night, you already understand the Negroni. Right? This is a cocktail that you either love or you hate, or you need to learn to love, right? So it's a really cool piece. But there's also some great ways to take some modern riffs on it. So that's what we're gonna do today.
All right. So
let's get right into it.
All right.
So the first thing, we're gonna taste the gin. Today, we've tasted this before, but just a reminder, the gin, this is the Anoka Tempest gin. This one's about 47.5%. So it's a little bit. Ooh. This is great. Now, remember,
it's actually pretty good.
And I really want you to make sure you're smelling in these today.
Oh, I know.
And get that mouth open, right? Oh, yeah. So this is a great base gin for Negronis.
I bought it after you had it in the show, actually. And I had it at home now, and I love it.
It's so great. And the thing that it's so great about it stands up to all the components of other cocktails. And that is a beauty thing when you're having a gin cocktail. Is you want it to be able to stand up to those.
So you want to be
kinds of
able
things.
to taste it rather than get drowned out in if there's something else, vermouth or something
Absolutely,
else.
right?
Okay.
For sure. And then the other key component of a Negroni, this is the bitter benchmark. So this is a Campari. So Campari, it was created in Italy in the 1960s. It delivers that bitter, herbal, orange-driven intensity, sort of a love or hate it flavor of the Negroni.
Oh, God. On its own, I can't say I'm loving that.
So this is the flavor.
Jeez.
This is the flavor that people argue about, and the reason why Negroni is famous.
Oh, God. I've never had that straight.
That is it is an intense bitterness.
Oh, jeez.
And I have grown to love
Campari straight.
Campari. I'll drink Campari over ice. Campari spritzes.
Come on.
Oh man, it is.
Really?
It is the champ.
Maybe it's like you get used to it. It just caught me off guard because it looks sweet.
It's
all red. I'm like, oh, this is going to be kind of sweet here.
Yeah,
like, I didn't think it to be like sugary sweet. But, oh my
but
God.
no, I mean, if you really slow down with it, it's very herbal, right? Very bitter.
Yes.
But there is that orange-driven intensity. There you go. The love or hate it flavor. Right on. And then this is the glue, right? This is the vermouth, sweet vermouth. And we're just using a simple martini Rossi for this one.
So is this like the Zach Hyman of the line?
This is Zach Hyman, right? This is the glue, absolutely, right? And this is a great component to have in your arsenal.
Yeah, that's way better.
So many different things, right?
I got to try the Campari now. Just
So try it again. Yeah, go back to the and then smell it next to the vermouth too, right?
I mean, because I had a little lingering vermouth, it's not as bad now. The vermouth has definitely.
That's right. That's right. So now we're going to taste the blueprint, right? This is the core thing. So the first class there, this is your classic Negroni.
So this is gin, Campari, and vermouth.
And the recipe for the Negroni is super simple. It's 1, 1, and 1.
Oh, so it's an ounce of each.
An ounce of each.
Okay.
Or one part of each. If you don't want to make a heavy drink, make a half an ounce.
Yeah.
Half an ounce,
Half. Okay.
But it's
so it's 3 equal parts.
3 equal parts. It is the simplest cocktail to put together.
Yeah. See, it's funny when all 3 come together.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. On their own, not so much, but just like in any sports, you get a combination.
You get a combination.
And it works.
You're great. And this is simple to make at home. You build it over ice, build it over ice, give it a stir, an orange peel and expression. Remember we did that with the lemon the other day?
Yeah.
Peel, you give it a little squeeze, run around the rim, and then you get the oils.
I like
in
that.
there.
I like the.
And that makes a huge difference.
Up until you've done it, I'd never thought of taking the rind and then just rubbing it around the lip of your.
Yeah, that is the absolute way to do it. That's the way your bartenders, anyone's making you a good Negroni, will not skip that part.
Okay.
Awesome. So we can move on now. So now we can play with the Negroni. Now we have the basis of this. We love this.
So these are all the 3, and then you can just add other things to it.
So now we can add all the things to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the vermouth in the next 2 cocktails. Now, typically the vermouth is sort of one of the backbone pieces. It's the glue, right?
Right.
And so you would normally switch out the Campari, which we could also do, which will be a fun thing, you can play with later. I'll leave you these afterwards, these samples here you can play with. But we're going to change the vermouth out and keep that Campari, that bitterness moment going. So the next component we're going to replace the vermouth with is actually Aperol. And so this is a modern softener. So it's lower alcohol, bright orange, gentle bitterness, designed for approachability. So
yeah, it's a little bit sweeter for sure. On its own, no problem.
Yeah, quite a bit sweet. So, and if you smell that compared to the Campari, right, you smell them back and forth, you're going to note some real good comparisons there. All right.
Funny that they smell similar, but the taste completely
different.
Like you
right?
could easily get your friends because they're kind of close in color.
That's right.
And you know what? If the room was dark, the one's a little bit more of a deeper blood red a little bit than the other.
That's right.
And you can say, "Oh, here, try this Aperol, but put Campari in it." Be like,
you'll mess with people.
Yeah.
So this is a modern riff. It is the same structure as a classic, softer bitterness, more citrus.
So when you go out to a restaurant, and you say, "I want a Negroni," you should look at the ingredients because some will put in vermouth, some will put in Aperol, and it's funny how different the tastes are here. Significantly different, even though they're both considered a Negroni.
That's right.
They're going to be.
And so this version here is what made the Negroni have a comeback. This is what made it popular again.
Because it's a little bit sweeter.
Because a little bit sweeter.
Because we're softer and we need sweetness.
Because people are softer and we need sweetness. That's right. Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So now we're going to move on to
because I probably favor a Negroni over an old fashioned. I like a good old fashioned, don't get me wrong. But Negroni, I find old fashioned hits me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so, you know what, to take a little bit more time. So I kind of joke about being softer. But some nights, it's just like, you know what, I don't want to be hit over the head with it.
That's
I just
right.
want to
Absolutely. And that's a great way of doing it. So now we're going to play with something really cool. So this is Cynar. That's how you pronounce it.
Cynar. I got to get this bottle.
That's right.
Cynar Ricetta Originale.
That's right. This is made with artichoke and herbs.
Really?
Yeah. So this is
Cynar.
All
right.
Cynar.
That's
Cynar.
Cynar. Okay.
That's right.
G.
Not Rodriguez, but the Amaro.
Cynar.
So this is all about a savory, earthy, bittersweet, much less aggressive than people expect.
It does have, it has an undertone of bitterness.
There's a little bit of an undertone.
Yeah, like it starts out smooth and you're like, oh, this is nice and full. And then all of a sudden it's like the bitterness just comes up.
Yeah, and it's, you know, that it's almost giving you that umami bit, right? You know, that with that earthiness and savoriness that's going to it. So this is kind of bitterness going sideways and not up.
And so now, we've taken out the vermouth again.
We took out the vermouth again.
So we still have the Campari and the gin.
We still have the gin and the Campari.
Okay.
And now we have the Cynar. And you can see, you know, this cocktail is a little bit darker.
Cynar.
A little bit more, earthy, rounded, savory.
I have to say, I like the original. Of the three, the vermouth, the Campari, and the gin, that would be, out of these three Negronis, that's the one I want. You?
I love all three of them for different reasons.
Well, they do taste very different. Yes.
Yeah. It just, for me, it's a mood thing. Sometimes at night, I would actually prefer like a classic Negroni is more of a daytime.
Yeah. The Cynar you would have at night.
The Cynar you have at night.
Definitely.
A little bit more rounded, softer, completely different. Less
I feel like
citrus.
it's going to put you to sleep.
It's got more depth to it. Right. And this one, the Aperol you'd still do with the orange, still express it. But with the Aperol one, I would take the orange rind, make it a little bit thicker, and it'll actually it'll enhance the sweetness even more in it. And then with the Cynar, you can use orange peel or a lemon peel, and really switch it up a little bit.
So well, I like it. Yeah. I like that. Anybody out there? We got a few texts coming in. Guys, I love Negronis. Which one would you recommend? Well, it depends because on what your taste.
Yeah, and I think you should always start with the classic. Like start with the classic and get into that, start understanding it. And once you have that, and again, the Campari is really the bitterness of that is what really freaks people out about Negroni. People are, I hate Negronis. Okay, well, it's probably the Campari and that bitterness that you're not used to and you don't like. So why don't you try it with Aperol instead? And so they'll do a gin, gin Campari Aperol, or there's also a gin vermouth and Aperol. You can play with that version, and it's going to switch it up also a little bit. So there's a ton of different ways to do it. And vermouth it's a great piece to have, right? It's but it's a wine. It's not a spirit.
Okay.
So when you're storing it, once it's open, refrigerated immediately. Best used within 4 to 6 weeks. So this isn't something you keep all year round. And oxidation kills the freshness. Another way to maybe lengthen the time on it a little bit is if you start putting into smaller bottles. And so smaller bottles equals fresher cocktails. And you can think of these ingredients, the Aperol, the Campari, the Cynar, vermouth, as these are like modifiers.
So let's say somebody, because that leads me to a question, because I'm sure a lot of people, let's say you have a bottle of vodka or a bottle of rum or whatever, and it's like a quarter full and it's still sitting here. Like, should you dump that out into a smaller one?
100%.
Okay.
100%. If it's going to sit there for a while, dump it out. Less air, less oxidation, is going to last longer.
Okay.
And
good to know, boys and girls. Everyone's like, oh, I got to get to my house.
Well, that really expensive whiskey you bought, you've been holding on, it's half empty.
Yeah.
If you haven't touched it for 3 years, you're making it worse.
Okay.
It really marginally, but
you're making it worse.
You're making it worse. You're not keeping the freshness to it. So, if your Negroni's tasting flat, it's probably your vermouth is old and flat. So that's the big thing. Amaros and aperitivos, the Aperol and Campari, they'll last like 6 to 12 months. Those will last a few months for sure. And the Cynar will last 6 to 12 months, but also better in the fridge and better as they get smaller to put them to smaller containers. So if you don't have anything fancy, use a mason jar. It doesn't matter. Just like I said, these aren't shelf decor for you. These are simply modifiers for your cocktails and things like that. And then once you have these things, you can make so many great different things at home, right? The Americano. So that's Americano is Campari, sweet vermouth, and soda. Gin and Cynar highball. So gin, Cynar, soda, lemon peel. Aperol spritzes, we've done before. And if you swap out the base spirit with these things, you got the Boulevardier, which is bourbon, Campari, sweet vermouth. The Cynar old fashioned. So that's bourbon, Cynar, and old peel. Mezcal Negronis, the Kingston Negroni style. So you're using rum, a dark rum instead of the gin. So there's all sorts of things you can do with it and do with the Negroni. And that's why we chose it today to really play around with it.
Awesome stuff, buddy. I appreciate it. As always, Dave, have a good one. We might have to think of an Olympic beverage for next week.
Right.
Okay?
Hey, I just wanted to mention too, I actually have a safe word.
For Knobloch?
I have a safe word.
Yeah?
No, that's my safe word.
Oh.
I mean, he can use it if he needs to.
Oh, okay.
But it's meatloaf. It means I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that.
All right. Yeah. Let's get to Connor Halley of the Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announced that Braden Point has been ruled out of the games in Italy and will be replaced by Hurricanes forward Seth Jarvis. Jarvis represented Canada at the Four Nation Faceoff last year. He's got 25 goals, 43 points in 48 games this season. On the ice tonight, final before the Olympic break, got the Sabres and the Penguins. Islanders in Jersey. Rangers host the Hurricanes, Sens taking on the Flyers. Caps and Preds. Panthers Lightning and the Golden Knights hosting the LA Kings. Canadian curlers Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman succeeded in their first true test at the mixed doubles competition at the Winter Games as they defeated Norway 6-3 and Italy 7-2. Canada currently tied for top spot with Great Britain at 3-0 in the association trade deadline. Coming gone, the Indiana Pacers acquiring center Ivica Zubac from the LA Clippers in exchange for Bennett Matherin, Isaiah Jackson, and 2 first-round picks, 1 second-rounder. Also, New York Knicks acquiring point guard Jose Alvarado from the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for Dalen Terry and 2 second-round picks, plus some cash on the court tonight. Raptors host the Bulls, tip-off 5:30. And back-to-back American League Cy Young winner Tariq Skubal won his case against the Detroit Tigers and is set to earn $32 million in 2026. The award is $13 million more than the Tigers argued. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host, former NHLer Terry Ryan, also Matt Larkin from Bailey Faceoff, and we'll speed things up in the Cantor Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Make your game day feast better with Papa John's. Create a mouth-watering pizza lineup with buffalo chicken, all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, or create your own pizza possibilities. On through Sunday, February 8th, get 25% off pizzas at regular menu price with the promo code BIGGAME at any location in Alberta. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app with promo code BIGGAME.
How are you?
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Alberta.
You know what would be even better than winning gold?
And Instagram.
I'll bite. Winning a gold medal made of Wilhauk beef jerky.
Athletes do get hungry. And
Connor Halley, NBA fans
on the podium. I think I'll start a petition.
Really?
No. Now pass the Wilhauk and turn up the games.
For a truly Canadian snack to cheer on our truly Canadian athletes, you need Wilhauk beef jerky, made with Alberta pride right here in Leduc.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Friday night calls for family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party. And tomorrow at Rogers Place, it's Oil Kings mascot Louie's birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits. Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louie's big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louie prize. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized. Oil Kings, Warriors, Louie's birthday bash, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Just after 3 o'clock. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It is Thursday. You know what that means? The Daily Grand. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. Pretty sweet. I tell you. Be awesome to win. Imagine you'd be frustrated after the loss last night. You wake up this morning, $1,000 guaranteed. It would bring your frustration down just a bit, just a little bit. It might. So there you go. A lot of text, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, I love Campari and sodas and aperitif. Definitely an acquired taste. Reminds me of medicine, particularly the sulfa drugs with the sour cherry flavor that gives us the early 60s. From Phil. Well, you know what, Phil? It's funny because I read your tweet and then I just mixed regular water with the Campari and took a swig and I'm like, okay, I like it. Like a way better. But Campari straight, ooh, that one, it was just surprising to me. It caught me off guard. Probably of all the things we've tried, that's the one I was like, oh my God, it was sour. But mixed together, pretty good. Has our next guest tried one? I don't know. He's tried a lot of things. I don't know if he's tried Campari straight or not, but we'll find out. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing? I don't know. Is he there? Did he mute himself?
Hello?
There you are, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the intro. I'm doing all right. It's a little cold here, but things got back from Shorzy Classic last week, and things are moving along at home pretty nicely.
Now, how far is Truro? How far is Truro from you? Like I know it's in Nova Scotia, but like how far would that be?
Well, I don't know. You'd fly to Halifax from here, so say an hour and a half probably, and then the drive to Truro. I'm not guessing. I've done it 1,000 times. Like 40 minutes maybe. If you're coming from the airport, a little bit closer because the airport's out of Halifax. But I go to a lot of. Truro has a phenomenal Junior A arena. It's absolutely state of the art. I don't know if there's much better. It's a really, really nice place to watch a game. So I've watched a few there over the last few years.
Okay. Few things. Let's start with the big news for Canada. Braden Point is out. We kind of always expected this, unfortunately for him. And Seth Jarvis is in. So the two guys who didn't make it from Four Nations, two of them anyway, are back on. So obviously they have their guys that they like, and it's not for me to disparage Seth Jarvis. I think he's a fine player. When I watch him in Four Nations, he didn't really do much. And so I'm kind of like, what's he going to do here? Like, I'm assuming he's not the guy now who's going to play with McDavid like Braden Point was. So if Celebrini's the left winger, and we think he is, who's going to be the right winger? Is it Mark Stone? Is it Mitch Marner? Who do you think they'll start with McDavid?
I thought for sure if he was out, it would be Hyman. I thought it might be Hyman for Bennett. I totally get Bennett, and I love that they picked him up. I would have done that anyway, but I would have had Hyman anyway. I thought for sure that was the news we were going to hear. Now, I'll say the same thing. No disparaging Jarvis, and he's got a great attitude. I love watching him speak. I can't say I love watching him play. He's pretty good. During that tournament, there might have been a little bit of meat left on the bone, but I think he's a great player. I'm really surprised for what you just mentioned. Someone playing with McDavid, you got Hyman right there, who's really turned it on, who's proved that in big games he steps up, and if he doesn't score, he'll hit, he'll block a shot, he'll do something. And there's so much depth to his game. I'm really, really surprised. Who's going to play there? I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about that today when I heard the news. I don't know, like Stone? I don't know. It's a mystery. I think Hyman fit like a glove, so your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, the one name that Tom Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Right winger, plays with skill, guy had 33 goals last year. Can forecheck, is physical, and McDavid needs somebody who hunts pucks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Wilson, right? Because they tried, Marner obviously for a brief time, but Marner and Celebrini obviously very skilled, but none of them are like necessarily like forechecking's not their forte. They have lots of other great assets. So I wonder, would you do a Tom Wilson there? Like I'd be surprised if they did. But God, the head coach knows him. Like John Cooper, he plays him a lot, plays against him a ton. He would know what he's capable of. I'm curious to see what the lines are going to be when they have their first practice. I think it's Monday. So when they have their first practice, I'm curious to see who's going to be on McDavid's right wing.
That wasn't on my bingo card, but that does make sense in a few ways, Tom Wilson. And I don't know, like I'm trying to think, who have we had over there, like a big presence? That I don't know, did Zach Kassian play? It was so long ago.
Yeah, Kassian had a year where he played with them.
I think he scored 20 maybe, or close to it.
Oh, yeah, no, he did.
Yeah, he did. So you got a guy that's just a fraction. He's a poor man's Wilson at best. Nothing against Zach Kassian, love his NHL career. But Tom Wilson, this guy, if you take all that physical stuff out of the game, he's still a really good player and a good scorer. I think almost underrated, if you can believe that. A Stanley Cup winner that's on Team Canada, that's so present all the time. But I still think he's a little bit underrated. Hence, it didn't even pop into my mind till you just said it. I think that is a really, really intriguing fit, maybe, or possible fit, maybe worth trying. I like where your head's at.
So, I'm going. I would put Macklin Celebrini on the left wing for sure. I would do it, and I just think the way he's played. I don't care that he was on the team last year. The way he's playing right now, I'd start him there. You can always change guys, and to me, it's either going to be Stone or it's going to be Wilson. And Mark Stone has played really well this year. I think I get that Edmonton fans hate him. I understand that. I respect it, but you also have to realize he's played pretty well. So he could do it. Tom Wilson definitely, I think, has capabilities to do it. Mitch Marner, you could play him there too if they wanted, but it'll be very interesting for me to see who will be on his wing on the right side. Leon Draisaitl, TR, after the game, I don't think he was yelling. Well, he wasn't yelling. He wasn't berating anybody. He was just very truthful in his assessment of the team. We're not good enough. We're giving up too many goals. We got to regroup after the break. From coaches to leaders to goalies to defense, everybody's got to be better. And I don't view it as a calling out at all. I just view it as an honest assessment, answering questions about where his team's at. And frankly, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of curious as well of why people are up in arms. I guess because of the stage and the player and the team. But yeah, I took it as he was just kind of creating imagery, like describing the spectrum. It starts with the coaches and, right down to the goalie. Like, not that it's any hierarchy like that, but he's just explaining. He had a bench. You look at the coaches first, and then, you had the forwards, D, and goalie, if for no other reason than numbers. So I only took it like that. And I took his criticism, clearly. But, included himself. I thought he was just basically saying we need a kick in the ass here, and he's right. Like the Oilers, it's weird. Like it's not like they're not capable. Like come on with these stretch passes and stuff, man. You get benched in senior if you did that constantly, or in the AHL. Like come on, and that's I'm sure Knobloch must have gone. I mean, that last year that happened all the time, and you're like, how does this? So it's just players that are real good players. That we've seen it when they need to buckle down, they do it, right? They do it, and they do it almost with ease at times. So, you know, it's just they make these mental mistakes, and I mean, as people who follow the Oilers and cover them and our fans, you know, we've just seen it. So you know that it's not alarming because you know that they can correct it. It's just it almost. It leaves you, you know, with a lot of questions. Is, you know, if you can do it, what like the penalty kill. The penalty kill, I don't know the stats for the first 30 or 40 games.
50 games, actually, TR.
Okay.
First 51 games, they were up to 11th. And then the last 7 games, it's been an absolute debacle of monumental proportions.
Yes, and it's not like these are just like a fluky set of bounces. Like those Toronto, like passes are going right through the middle, like that one Nylander to Tavares. It's just a weird pass on the power play. You just don't normally see it. You certainly don't normally see it like 6 times in one game, right? Usually you go down and you try to get someone gets open in the slot and it's really quick. But that was, I found them. They took their eyes off the prize. I mean, they were doing things that just isn't normal for a team that's been that far and that can prove to shut it down defensively against the most relentless forechecks in the league, in arguably of the last decade, right? And yet they can go out and just lay an egg against teams that aren't even in the playoffs. So, I mean, on one hand, it's frustrating. On the other, I mean, it's pretty obvious they can play better. They just got to get out of their own heads, or I don't want to say effort, but in a way, you know, you just got to bear down mentally.
Oh, yeah. No question. So, yeah, the Oilers, their first 52 games, they were actually 80.9%. And actually, their first 53 games, it was 80.3%. And then 5 games have seen them go from 10th best in the NHL, all the way down because they have plummeted to 27th. And that just shows you, you know, the percentage going from 80.9 to 76.9 in a span of 5 games, dropped them from 10th to 27th. So it's a quick fall. And the thing about that is, and that's what this PK has done in the past. They've had stretches where they're just horrific, and it ruins the whole season. And you can't just have 5 good games now and make it back up, right? That's the problem with it, right? You go 10 for 10. It doesn't make up for going 1 for 7. Right? It just doesn't. So that's their problem now with their penalty kill, stretch passes. How the hell do you get beat on a stretch pass on a penalty kill? Like I can't remember the last time seeing it, and I definitely can't remember the last time I saw it twice in 3 games. For goodness sake, so that's not good. And what about Chris Knobloch, TR? Because to me, Knobloch's biggest failure so far this year as a head coach is his insistence to want to go with McDavid and Draisaitl. I don't care that it worked in the past. It's not working this year. The numbers back it up. It doesn't work. So stop it. Yeah. It does not work.
I knew you were going to say that. And it's wild that it doesn't work. I mean, it has in the past here and there. But, yeah, it hasn't really worked. It almost seems awkward at times. And I'll tell you why. The more I think about it, because you're looking at this and trying to be objective, you know, and for me, it's almost funny sometimes trying to look at the Oilers and criticize some of the best players on the planet. But, and including the coach, he's been through so much. And I love Knobloch. He seems like love might be an exaggeration. But, you know, we're alumni of the Red Deer Rebels. Have always followed his career. He got into coaching, and he seems to have a head on his shoulders and make smart decisions. And most of the time, he's spot on. But that is a weird one because when you keep going to it, if I'm on the team, I almost feel a little bit, I don't want to say left out, but like, you know, every single time, like, and it's not working with them. And you're saying that the stats now over 50-odd games or whatever it is of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of minutes that you put them together, it's not working. It's clearly not working, at least not to the level that it's not saving the team or anything. I mean, they might get an odd goal. I think they're, +3 or something. So for me, yeah, I'd feel like, come on. Like if that's not working over 50-odd games, what the hell? Give me a chance here, right? And it just to me would almost not defeated, but it would make me feel a little bit. I'd question things a little bit. Where do I fit here? And if I can't do it, and guys coming out, I mean, we were all over Mangiapane for most of the year. You see him with a little bit of grease, and he gets out there and hits the crossbar, and snows the goalie, and I don't know. There's little moments in games that I would, I'm not saying I'm going to place him on the first line, first power play the rest of the season. He hasn't played well. But that's just an example. Little things like that, if someone's playing, I don't know. I'm not against mixing it up. But when you keep doing that, and it almost looks sometimes, even if you don't want it to, it looks a little bit like panic mode, just because if you're going to, they got to put those guys together again. It's like, okay, panic, we need to go. And when you do it and it's like in the first period, and it's like 1 or 2 to nothing, it does seem like a bit of a panic. And we know that they don't have to do that. They're a much better team. I'm really, I feel like I'm nitpicking, but if you're asking me from afar watching, yes, I would feel a little bit slighted as a player at this point. And it looks to me, if I'm the other team, I would be all over it. Okay, boys, they already went to Draisaitl and McDavid. We're in their heads. Keep going. That's what I would think if I'm another team at this point.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Quick break. We will return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show continues on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having a fantastic Thursday. The Olympics have officially begun. Of course, we've had some mixed curling. You had women's hockey. Canada's game actually, oddly enough, got postponed due to illness for Team Finland. So they will make up the game next week on the 12th. So kind of I'd love to see. I'm sure it's probably happened before, and I understand why it happened. The risk of forcing the play, because they wouldn't have forfeited. Like, there's no chance. So I think they probably went with the better move there, and away you go. Less chance of infecting the Canadian team. As the Finnish team is what virus they got? The
Norovirus.
Norovirus.
Yeah.
So not good. Nora. Who wants Nora?
I'm curious though, Gregor. Like, you think about that. I know not that Finland was like gold medal favorite, but that's going to take a toll on the body as well.
Oh,
like if that's passed around, they're not going to be top speed for a while.
No, not at all. No, they'll be like TR on Saturday night after a tough Friday, right? But I don't know. Well, he'll probably bounce back better than that. ATR, I would think so.
It depends what exactly Friday, how long it went, and who was involved.
Very true. Let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's and Frank's Red Hot. Ooh, baby. For a limited time only at McDonald's. Frank's Red Hot on some of your McDonald's favorites, but only for a limited time. Try it now at McDonald's. As Matt Larkin from Daily Faceoff joins us. Matty, how you doing?
Gentlemen, how are you?
We're good. Very good. What were your thoughts on the announcement? Like, I know, hey, they were going to get Braden Point every last possible moment to see if he could play, and I totally respect why. You'd want to see him play, but unfortunately, he's not going to play. What did you make of the announcement that Seth Jarvis will be replacing him?
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. On one hand, I can see it as sort of a direct replacement. They're both roughly the same size. They're both right shots who can play center or the wing. They're both goal-scoring centers. They're both good defensively. So in terms of just player archetype, I can see it. Also, I think that maybe there was almost a spot kind of promised to Seth Jarvis, because when the team was announced, he was battling an injury. And it felt like, even though Jarvis said, hey, I think I lost my spot on merit, I think the injury had something to do with it. So I get the idea that maybe he was sort of next in line. On the other hand, if you look at where Braden Point played in the Four Nations, he ended that tournament on the top line.
Yes.
And he was playing with Mr. Connor McDavid. So I do think it's fascinating that Canada didn't look for a higher ceiling option. So it could have been, of course, Zach Hyman, who's got 22 goals, not even half a season's worth of games, has the shorthand with McDavid. Also, Wyatt Johnston, I think, would have been an interesting option in terms of higher offensive upside. I love Seth Jarvis as a player, but you have a lot of Seth Jarvises on this team, a lot of lunch pail guys like Brandon Hagel, you have Brad Marchand, you have Nick Suzuki, you have Bo Horvat, you have Sam Bennett. So with Jarvis replacing Point, is this team starting to look too similar top to bottom? I'm not sure.
So my question is, like, a lot of people think that they're going to go with the McKinnon, Crosby, Reinhart line because they played a lot together and had success. And, a lot of people think Celebrini is playing with McDavid. So who is his right winger? Is it going to be Stone? Is it going to be Marner or Tom Wilson?
Ooh, Tom Wilson's pretty interesting. If you think of the archetype of a great line, you have one digger, one playmaker, and one pure scorer. But I would do it differently. So if you look at different permutations that have worked in the past, I think you still need a high upside winger with McDavid. I would consider trying Sam Reinhart with him again. And you have to remember, there was also chemistry with Macklin Celebrini and Sidney Crosby at the World Championship last year. I would consider putting Celebrini now on the left wing. So you go Celebrini, McKinnon, Crosby, or Crosby, McKinnon, Celebrini. That would be a very fascinating line. I think that's what I'd consider doing. Tom Wilson is such a wild card in the tournament. He could be anything from a major difference maker on the first line to a total disruptor on the fourth line to undisciplined under IIHF rules and being a liability. There's just such a wide range of outcomes there. So I think it's risky to have him on the first line.
Yeah, Celebrini to me on the left side, like he's normally a center. I don't know if I want to play him on the right wing. I get the theory of that with the Crosby. So we'll see. It's going to be fascinating. I'm sure that first practice will, as we saw at Four Nations, it was only a 4-game tournament and they still had different line combinations all the time. So in a 7-gamer, I'm sure we're going to see different combos, especially with 14 skaters. You're probably going to want everybody to get into at least one game, which leads me to the back end. Matt, were you surprised they went with the exact same 8 that they use at Four Nations?
I was, and I did not like the decision at all. I would have had 3 different decisions. I would have had Evan Bouchard in there. I would have had Matthew Schaefer in there. I would have Jacob Chychrun in there as well. To me, the biggest head scratcher was Colton Parayko. I know, of course, there's a connection to Doug Armstrong with the St. Louis Blues, but Parayko was the worst defenseman in the tournament for Canada at the Four Nations. Scoring chances were about 62% for the other team when he was on the ice. And I get the idea, okay, fine, you can dress 7 defensemen. You can use them just for the penalty kill if you want. But if you look at the other options that were snubbed, again, Bouchard, Schaefer, and Chychrun, all 3 of those guys can do so many different things well. They all have size. They can all skate. They can all defend better than they get credit for. So I think you've limited yourself with this group, bringing back the same 8, especially, if you have to scratch one of them, you can sort of decide what you want to go with. You want to go smaller, have Thomas Harley in there. Then you have to go smaller and more mobile. Do you want to go with more size? You have Parayko in there. You have Travis Sanheim. If you had chosen one of the other 3 guys I mentioned, you wouldn't have to make that decision. You'd have more versatility with the guys that are in the lineup. So I don't like what Canada did with its blue line. Even if you look at Thomas Harley, yes, I know he was great filling in last year as an emergency replacement. But for all the criticism Evan Bouchard gets for turning over the puck, having those little mental lapses, Thomas Harley has the same problems in his game from time to time, and Bouchard has been better in every way this season. So I don't agree with that pick at all. And I think if there's a weakness with Canada in this tournament, it's actually the blue line.
TR?
Matt, we've gone over and dissected Canada, as followers of the game even and members of the media, of Canada, the U.S. We've talked about Sweden and all the NHLers that are going. But there must be some non-NHLers to look out for, guys who have already played or maybe are on their way there or just don't play that are great players. Are there any that stand out to you?
Yeah, the big one, of course, is Roman Cervenka for Czechia, right? Because he has tremendous chemistry with David Pastrnak. He was part of the team that won the World Championship 2024. They were dominant together in 2025. He obviously has been in the KHL for most of the last decade and a half. He came to the NHL briefly. It didn't really work out, but he's sort of been forgotten. He's someone who's nearing the end of his career, but he still really steps up in international tournaments. So to me, he's someone you really have to watch for. Also, Leonardo Giannoni, the goaltender for Switzerland. I think he's a standout. He's another one of those guys. Maybe he didn't quite have the size. He never made the trip overseas to become an NHL goaltender, but he's still been very good for a very long time out there. So I think those are 2 in my mind that you have to watch for among the non-NHLers.
As far as Team USA, I'm curious on this one. I don't remember Jack Hughes doing much at Four Nations. I could be wrong. He got pushed around. I know that. Now that he's been injured, what do you expect out of Jack Hughes at this thing?
I think you're bang on there, TR. I think that Jack Hughes was not impressive at the Four Nations. I think the game looked too physical, too fast for him, and I don't think he stood out at all. It's going to be interesting because now, if you're Mike Sullivan, you could almost use the injury as an excuse. If you feel like it's not a fit with Jack Hughes in that lineup, maybe that's one reason. You can say, oh, well, he's still working his way back from the injury. Because he's such a big-name player, it feels weird to scratch him, right? It feels like it'd almost be galaxy braining him, but I don't know. I really wasn't impressed with him at the Four Nations. I think it just depends on what type of lineup the Americans are trying to go with. We already know that they made some strange decisions going with more grit and leaving a lot of skill, right? Two of the top goal scorers in the league, Cole Caulfield, Jason Robertson, not coming to the tournament. You're going with your JT Millers of the world, your Brock Nelsons, your Vinny Trocheks. So if you're leaning into that identity, then do you consider Jack Hughes being your scratch? I don't know. Maybe not right away, but if you get deeper in the tournament and you end up matched up with Canada in an elimination game, do you look for a more physical lineup because they obviously pushed Canada to the brink last year? It's going to be interesting.
Matt Larkin joins us. Patty, the playoff races in the NHL, now there are 7 games left tonight, but there are some very intriguing ones in all the divisions and all the conferences. We could see a significant change of teams in the Eastern Conference, but in that Metro division, 68 points for the Penguins, 67 for the Islanders, 65 for Columbus, 63 for Washington. 2 of those 4 can get in. There's a chance, I guess, maybe one of them could also then get in the wild card, but you need Buffalo and Montreal and Boston, somebody to really fall out. So who do you like of the Penguins, Islanders, Blue Jackets, and Capitals to make it as the 2 and 3 seeds in the Metro?
Oh, it's so tight. Tough question. The Penguins have kind of made believers out of me this season. I didn't see it coming in, but they really have found something under Dan Hughes, who I think deserves major consideration for the Jack Adams Award. They've been really good in special teams, especially early in the season. And I don't know. I think if the Penguins were going to fade, we would have seen it by now, just with the veteran leaders they have. Maybe they have the juice. Maybe they've even earned. I don't think you're going to make a crazy foundation-changing trade where you sacrifice futures, but maybe, a mid-round pick for an extra veteran. This group's probably earned that. You're trying to give Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang another run. I think they might get in. And if you look at the rest of the field, Columbus is absolutely charging right now. They've won 7 in a row. The new coach bump is absolutely there with Rick Bowness. It's a proven thing. It is statistically something that happens in the NHL. It doesn't tend to last, but in a short sample, it can. We saw it with Jim Montgomery in St. Louis last year. I think that Columbus is this year's St. Louis. I think they're going to keep it going. Zach Werenski is playing at not just the Norris level, but you could argue he's even one of the most valuable all-around players in the league. Jet Greaves really underrated as a goaltender as well. So I like Columbus to get that other spot.
Oh, buddy, I love Columbus, man. They are rolling right now. I like how their team plays. I think Zach Werenski, to me, would be ahead of Cale Makar right now in the Norris. If you just look at all their numbers and look who he plays with and everything else, Werenski is having a spectacular season with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And you know what? Rick Bowness has them going, man. I'll give him credit that coaching change has seemed to be more than just the original coach bump. It's lasted a few weeks.
It's just crazy how often it happens. It's just, I did a study on it a couple of years ago where I actually tracked to see if it was a myth, but it's not. It does happen. The only thing is it doesn't always last the next season. So there seems to be an emotional lift, maybe just the adjustment of a system or certain players who function better in different roles, different coaches, whatever it is, it works in the short term. So I think we're going to see this continuing from Columbus.
What about in the West? You have, Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas. Those guys are all in. There's a battle, though, on who's going to finish in the season. Because, hey, Minnesota and Dallas, although Colorado has games in hand, Minnesota and Dallas are definitely battling for 2 and 3. But Colorado's little funk here has given the Wild and the Stars reason to think, hey, maybe we could even catch them. They're within 5 and 6 points now. Then you got the Pacific Division, the turtle race of the divisions, Vegas, Edmonton, Seattle, Anaheim, LA, all within 6 points. And if the Kings win in regulation tonight, it'll be all within 4 points. Who do you like to come out of the Pacific and make it in the top 3 spots?
Well, I still have faith in the Oilers. I know they're not as deep of a team this year, and I know they're having a little bit of trouble with the penalty kill and with their new goaltender, who kind of is a carbon copy of Stuart Skinner, Tristan Jarry. I said that the day the trade happened. But I digress. I think they're going to find a way, and I do expect that Stan Bowman's going to find a little bit of help leading up to the trade deadline. So I think they get in there. I don't have faith in Seattle. I think Seattle's a team without an identity. They have a lot of veterans. They're older than they should be. They're not playing their kids enough, and they're kind of stuck in this purgatory. I don't think that's going to last. I think the Ducks, they had that skid. I think they're getting back on track. They have a lot of talent top to bottom. They're young. You're going to get Leo Carlson back. I think the Ducks are a pretty strong bet to come back into that number 3 spot. So I'm going to say Edmonton, Anaheim. But of course, we have to keep an eye on the Kings now that they have Artemi Panarin. And that's something they've been missing for so long, a game-breaking scorer. He's obviously going to help them.
Who are you picking at the Olympics to finish second and third? Because I assume you're picking Canada to finish first.
You mean in their group or overall?
Overall, to win.
I think that the Americans are still stacked enough that they're going to get there. And just based on, I kind of played out the seedings in my head. And just in terms of where they would be seated for the elimination rounds, I have Canada and the U.S. meeting in the final. I think Canada's going to pull it out again. I think they have a better team than they had at the Four Nations. I think the U.S. might have a weaker team if you look at how Connor Hellebuyck's playing going in. Obviously not much help in Winnipeg. So I think the gap between the teams is actually different than it was a year ago. U.S. missed their shot. So I have Canada 1, USA 2, and I have a sizzling hot take. I know it should be Sweden or Finland, but I've had this feeling about Germany, guys. I have Germany as my sleeper to go on a Cinderella run, get the bronze. You have one of the best defensemen in the world, Moritz Seider. You have one of the best all-around players in the world, Leon Draisaitl. You have Tim Stützle. You have JJ Peterka. This team actually has star power. And you have Philip Grubauer, who's having maybe the best season of his NHL career, at the very least the best since he became a Kraken. He's playing at a high level this year. He's hot, which means he has the ability to steal games right now. So I just have a feeling we're going to see a Cinderella run from the Germans.
Ooh, spicy. I like it. Awesome, Matty. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the Olympics.
I sure will. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's Matt Larkin from Daily Faceoff. When we return, we will chat about some trophies, some testing, and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The Sports 1440 Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. I'm heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother had the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Friday night calls for family fun that's second to none, starting with a big party. And tomorrow at Rogers Place, it's Oil Kings mascot Louis' birthday bash, presented by Bloom Benefits. Edmonton faces the Moose Jaw Warriors. Local mascots will be in the house for Louis' big day, and every fan in attendance gets a card for their chance to win a fun Louis prize. Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is lion-sized. Oil Kings, Warriors, Louis' birthday bash, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Of course, Terry Ryan. Also along for the Thursday afternoon ride, as we'll speed things up now as we get to the racing report, brought to you by Can Torque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantorque.com. As Colin Livingston joins us once again. CL, how you doing?
Man, I love that tagline I almost forget I wrote that. I love that where, extreme isn't theoretical. I love it every time. And that's such great delivery, man.
Oh, okay. Well,
comes to life when you give it to me.
Okay. I like it. We're kind of in the real downtime of racing. There's some testing going on. Schumacher did that and kind of whatever. But I know we're going to get into some pre and injury recovery training with Terry, which actually does. I think some people like in racing, especially like necks and everything else. Like it's wild how much strength you have in your neck. Like I think if most average folks couldn't get into these cars because your neck just couldn't handle the force, you couldn't do it. But quickly, kind of an update on some of the local drivers in the Rotax Winter Trophy and how it ended up.
Yeah, I mean, really, really strong performances. Noel Dowler was really the standout out of our, kind of our three drivers from Edmonton. Noel was running Master Max, running against, it was a small field, but everyone was like a legit contender. My good friend Henry Baudet was doing the broadcast and he kept chucking Noel under the bus saying that he had like a late race fade. And I have to, disagree with Henry because I was watching what was happening and Noel he was really patient and he wasn't overly aggressive. He wasn't taking unnecessary risk and he got caught up in a couple of people's things on Friday and Saturday. But, Sunday he took the lead, had it until like 2 laps to go, was overtaken, finished second, really, really strong performance, kind of, silenced the critics. Griffin Dowler was, he's kind of running mid-pack throughout the whole weekend. He missed the first weekend's worth of activity, so he wasn't really a factor towards the end. He missed a lot of track time, but seemed to hold his own. And then our boy Matthew Taskinen, they took the advice of the guys they were running with down in the States. They wanted them to try a particular go-kart for the conditions that they were facing. Matthew didn't really want to try the go-kart. And once they went on the different frame, he just couldn't get the kart up to speed. Like, this is one of those idiosyncrasy things where, yeah, the go-karts all look the same, but man, they're not. Like, no. From make to make, from model to model, like even within a particular model, there's probably 3 different main configurations of the size of tubes and how they put them together, even though they look exactly the same. So, Matthew, he held his own. He would have been more of a force. Like, he didn't forget how to drive. But yeah, it was unfortunate. The first weekend really set them off the course with the cold weather and the extreme rain and getting a bad set of rain tires. Like the rain tires that they practiced on were used, but he was competitive. The new tires that they put on were worse than hockey pucks. They, these are terms that most people won't know, but when they checked the new tires after their first race and couldn't figure out why they were slower than, he was a second a lap slower than everyone. They measured, they use what's called a durometer. Mm-hmm. They were 5 points harder than new tires than used last year's tires. They're like, these are garbage. You could never rate, they'd never get up to temperature. So few unfortunate things. Held his own, and now there's still going to be a few more chances throughout the year for Matthew to get his ticket here in Canada.
Now, I know you want to talk preseason training and injury cover with TR, so.
I do. I got hurt last year. I mean, you personally know what happened. I tripped and really damaged my ankle, my knee, my shoulder. That, it's while I don't exactly exemplify what an athlete looks like, especially now, the last year has been really, really mentally and physically challenging, trying to get, I stayed in the gym. I worked with my trainer, Tony, but we could only do so, I couldn't move my shoulder. So we can't do upper body, or we try and do something. And then that would put me out a month from doing, right now I can say my core is like the best it's ever been. My legs are ready to go. I can do crazy things with my legs that I've never been able to, but, yeah, I mean, and Terry knows that, when you take an injury, there's always pressure to come back. But, TR, I guess I'm asking you the question. How do you keep your mind in the right place to, understand that, when your performance really falls off, how do you stay patient so that you don't make the damage worse?
Honestly, like any other walk of life, I would ask people that have been in the same position. That's why a hockey dressing room is a great place to be for that way. People don't think of car racing as team, but it's one of the ultimate team sports. Everybody got to be in the same position. And of course, someone came before you. So for me, you really want to know, when I was in Montreal, there was a guy there, Benoit Brunet, and they called him Benoit the Brittle because he was hurt every year. It's not like he was putting himself in bad positions. A lot of it was just fluke time, but that's going to happen when you play a physical sport. So I would talk to the people that came before me, maybe settle my nerves, especially someone that might have been my same physical structure, my height and weight, play my same position. Benny was one of those guys. Shane Corson was one of those guys who was hurt a lot as well. So that's what I would do. But even cross sports like yourself, you're explaining this to me, and I think dealing with injury and adversity is something that is pretty easy to identify for any athlete.
Yeah, I mean, they always say that being an entrepreneur is going from disaster to disaster without any loss of enthusiasm. But the problem for me is I didn't get, like, you guys get hurt playing your sport. I got hurt walking on a sidewalk in Frankfurt, Germany. Like, I don't have a great story. Sorry, I don't have a good story. Like, we just got off the plane. I caught my foot on a cobblestone and it took me down. And like I said, I mean, I'm starting to get close to 1 year since it happened, that now, like, just in the last 6 weeks, I can get on the treadmill. I can do short stints where I can, like, now I can take impact to my ankle where I could hardly walk for 6 months. So yeah, it's, but now I'm starting to see the gains again. So it's moderately encouraging.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, well, it is something, I think, for lots of people that it's just going to take time, right? And that's why, like in any sport, you could get back in the car, but it doesn't mean you're going to be as good. And we see it all the time in hockey, that where players are good enough to play, but they're not at the level of their maximum ability. And that happens, and you see it, like Connor Brown's an easy example for any of our listeners to think about recently, right? And he finally, like, the players never say it up front. Because mindset-wise, you don't want to give yourself, put it out, geez, I'm just not that good. Well, hey, maybe, you know what? I think I can probably still compete and I can still help out. And, like, if Connor McDavid drops 5% of effectiveness, he's still elite. But for 80% of the NHL, you drop 2, 3, 4% TR, you can go from a second liner to a third liner to a fourth liner, and the bottom 6 guys can go from being effective to being in the press box very quickly, right? And so it's no different in any sport, I think. 1 or 2, 3%, when people aren't fully healthy, it becomes fairly noticeable for outside of the elite athletes.
Yeah, well, if you're asking me, and I'll just quickly comment, I watch a lot of Leafs games too, because I do a lot of radio around here. A lot of Leafs Habs fans, so I watch a lot. Matthew Knies is an example. He's clearly playing through something. I mean, he came back a little bit early, not quite himself. Still good enough to contribute. And you're right. Sometimes the superstars, you won't see it as obvious because they still might go in and figure out a way to chip in. But it's something that you got to play around. And for me, if you're mid-level in the NHL, you're fighting for a spot. I guess this might transfer over into racing, but you want to, because the warrior attitude got you there, and that wanting to play for the team got you there. But you're also possibly hurting the team, and you just got to get used to it. When you hit pro, junior, it's more like, just go wing it. But when you hit pro, I think you really got to take that stuff seriously.
I also want to talk, CL, about full send carding that startup. Tell us about it for people out there that are interested.
Yeah, I've always been, in the last 5-6 years, I've been involved in, cart sale and accessories and all the rest of it, but we're really changing the company, renamed it last year. You've seen the karting simulator that we've purchased. I mean, full send is going to be, a more encompassing entity where we're still selling CRG race carts. These are not the kind of carts you want to just buy and have at home. These are if you intend to come out to a place like, EDKRA and do some racing with us. But we'll have a full complement of, race suits, boots, gloves, rib vests, all our own brand. We're going to be doing some driver development using this, really state-of-the-art full motion karting simulator. We'll also have, driver trainers available. This is all by appointment. Please don't, walk in the door and say you heard what we were talking about. I'd love to talk to you. We just can't squeeze people in without notice, but we'll have, full-on driver training. We'll have data analysis where we can download all the driver inputs like we can with a regular go-kart. We can see look, you're slowing down too early. We can put people on the actual tracks they're going to be racing on. So we can see and correlate between, this is what happens in the real go-kart. Here's what we can do in the simulator. But
do you put it side by side so they would see, if you were braking at the right time, or is it just you can time out to say, if you brake at the right time, because that becomes a skill to learn when to do it. And, and we're not like the difference between a foot in braking, I'm guessing, could be a massive difference in time in one lap.
It wouldn't be a foot wouldn't be massive, but yes, what you can see is we can put someone like Matthew in the cart who can, his feel and his ability to go fast is as good as anybody in the world. So we can show, look at where he's driving to before he hits the brakes and look at how he controls it. And we can show it on a map and we can show it through data that, you're slowing down. Like, here's the throttle trace. You're lifting off. He's still full throttle. You're hitting the brake, you're getting to the corner too soon, where he's driving another 30 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever it is. Because in the simulator, there's no weight difference. It's exactly the same for everyone. The track conditions exactly the same. So it takes all the excuses away. There should be no reason that I can't go as fast as Matthew or Tag or whatever, aside from acknowledging that they have far more talent than I do and way better attitudes. But there's in a real go-kart, there's no way I can keep up because, 50, 60, 70 pounds heavier than what these guys race at, on my very, very best day, I could never close that gap. But in the simulator, we're all equal.
And so it more so comes down to driving technique then at that point.
1000%, because you can see what's in the simulator, you've got no fear of crashing, but people, it's accurate enough and it's realistic enough that your brain's telling you, okay, this is where I have to stop.
Yes. Because anybody hasn't seen the simulator. I mean, it's unreal. Like the screen TR, it's like you got a big screen TVs on the side of you and in front of you. Everybody should go through the simulator once. I remember the first time I did it, it was unreal. It feels like you're racing. Obviously, I'm not going as fast as the drivers. I'm probably not braking at the right time, but it is it's almost like VR, really, when you think about it.
We have VR headsets now. So
you have VR headsets
for the karting simulator. Yeah. So when you're in, we tried using VR with the car simulator, but it doesn't work because in the car simulator, you still have to access the keyboard to I want to do a pit stop. I want to do a tire change.
Right, that makes sense.
But in the kart, you get a virtual display of the display on the steering wheel. You really only use your hands and feet. So you get completely immersed. And the way the sound transmits into your brain is so much better than listening out a speaker. So when you're in that thing, you're in it. And we can actually talk to the driver in real time and say no, look, stop right now. Let's back up. Let's go to this position again and try this corner because you're still not you feel like you're getting to the curb, but you've got 3 feet.
Awesome. So how can people connect with you on that?
We're working on we're working on the new website. So for now, everything's located at crgkarting.ca, karting with a K. In the next, I think we're told 6 weeks, our new fullsendkarting.ca, it'll be fskarting.ca website. It'll be all the CRG stuff's going to transition over. Our e-commerce store will be active. And we'll have a lot more information. I mean, we'll be running the simulator through the year. It's great, again, for, people who are going to travel. We just had Matthew in the simulator to learn the Houston track that he was just at. Our other driver, Devin Gellings, has come in. She learned the K1 track in Winchester. So it'll be available, obviously, for a fee. But, people can always email me as well, Colin at fskarting.ca.
Awesome stuff, man. We will chat with you next Thursday. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Shay.
That's Racing Report brought to you by Cantork. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They can mean all your car needs and more with their digital vehicle report. They don't just tell you what your car needs, they'll show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announcing that Braden Point has been ruled out of the games in Italy and will be replaced by Hurricanes forward Seth Jarvis. Jarvis represented Canada at the Four Nations face-off last year, has 25 goals, 43 points in 48 games this season. One final night in the NHL before the break. You got the Sabres and Penguins kicking off at 5. The Devils and the Islanders. Hurricanes taking on the Rangers. Flyers, Sens, Caps, Preds, Panthers in Tampa, and the Golden Knights taking on the Kings. Canadian curlers Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman succeeded in their first true test in the mixed doubles competition at the Winter Games, knocking off Norway 6-3, then beating Italy 7-2. Canada currently tied for top spot with Great Britain at 3-0. In the association, the trade deadline come and gone. The Pacers acquiring center Ivica Zubac from the Clippers in exchange for Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, and 1 second-rounder. And the New York Knicks acquiring point guard Jose Alvarado from the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for Dalen Terry and 2 second-round picks plus cash. On the court, Raptors host the Bulls tip-off set for 5:30. You've also got the Spurs and the Mavericks, Warriors in Phoenix, and the Lakers taking on the 76ers. Back-to-back American League Cy Young Award winner Tariq Skubal won his arbitration case against the Detroit Tigers and is now set to earn $32 million in 2026, $13 million more than the number the Tigers argued. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been the Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now's the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Welcome to
For 3
Uncommon.
o'clock.
Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian
Sports
winter,
1440,
built
Sports
for
1440
real
got the
life
YouTube
confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control,
1440.ca, YouTube,
stability,
Facebook,
and
X.
grit you need. And when the
Battle of
temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this
1440.ca.
plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick
Car needs,
status
they'll
for
show you. Book your
19
appointment.
years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting, a St. Albert and surrounding areas premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com.
This is Sport 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Seven. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Alley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having an awesome Thursday, man. It was like plus 10 out today. Wild stuff. Hope it gets cold overnight, and hope that the world's longest game can get going on. Otherwise, it'll be a slush fest, and that makes it way harder for the players, because there's very, very little gliding when that happens, and that becomes much harder to skate on. So good luck to all the ladies and gents who are playing in the world's longest game. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at playalberta.ca. Of course, it is Thursday, the Daily Grand, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. $7.3 million. Get your tickets at playalberta.ca. The Oilers, we talked about it earlier, and Leon Draisaitl. Maybe a good news for Oilers fans is you get a little reprieve. Now you can focus on the Olympics, right? There's no trade, so no one's getting traded. You can focus on the Olympics and Team Canada in lots of different sports. As the hockey tournament gets going on the 11th, Canadians will play on the 12th, a week from today, and then it's off and running. And how it works, because we've had a lot of texts on the text line, 833-401-1440, asking about the format. So there's four teams in pools of three. Everybody plays the other three teams in their pool one, so that's 3 games guaranteed. Then the number 1 seeds, they get a bye. And the best number 2 seed. So most points and then goals for, goals against differential will come into play. And that team will be the number 4 seed, and they will get a bye. And then after that, you'll have basically, they'll be seeded 5 through 12. 5 plays 12, 6 plays 11, so on. Sudden death. So everybody gets at least 4 games. And then you move on from there. You go to the 5 to 12, then you go to a quarterfinal, semifinal, and then a final. And the final will be on Sunday, the 22nd of February. And if it's a gold medal game and Canada's in it, brace yourself. 6:10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. 8:10 in the, this is where TR, he'll be loving it. It'll be like 9:40 TR's time on the 22nd. They'll have had some pancakes, some eggs, and be ready to roll. So it's a one-time TR where this will be a big benefit for you, being in that time zone.
And it will be a nice benefit, and it'll be a nice precursor for Paddy's Day, because in March that's I mean, I'm sure it happens all around, but being such an Irish influence here, then Paddy's Day always starts on George Street, and it is packed at 9 or 10 in the morning. So I guess this, hopefully, now fingers crossed, I'll be watching anyway. But if Canada's in, then it's going to be it'll be a good day either way for Canada, but we're going to be right in the sweet part of the bat, getting up in the morning, and by 10 o'clock the game will just be started.
Well, it should be good if Canada gets in. I think it would be a major disappointment if they didn't make it there. There's no guarantee. It's never easy. You get into a 1-game playoff, anything can happen, and so you want to get there. And then obviously, be rooting for the Canadians. And I know we got a lot of people that, texting, tweeting about the Seth Jarvis thing. And here's the reason for me is Braden Point was the one right winger, first line right winger. That's where he was. You can tell me all you want about Seth Jarvis Selke voting. I don't care. Braden Point wasn't there as a Selke. He was there as a top-line scorer. So replace him with a top-line scorer. That's what I would have done. And, hey, Seth Jarvis will probably play, and he'll be all right. But that's, to me, is why it feels like a little bit of an odd decision at this point. Now, hey, the team's good, and I still fully believe Canada's going to win. But just because you think they're going to win doesn't mean you can never question anything about their decisions, right? Hey, I see a lot of people that are and all across Canada wondering about the exact same 8 defensemen, and they don't really have tons of puck movers on that blue line, right? You got a fast offensive team. You want guys who can move the puck quickly. They're not terrible, obviously, right? And like I said, I think Canada will be fine, but I think they could have mixed and matched a little bit different on the back end. TR, is there another Olympic sport that's a must watch for you?
Well, in Newfoundland for the last 20 years, it's been curling because we won it. And until Brad Gouger, we never had a gold medal. I don't think we had a medal. We may got a bronze there again 4 years ago. So, that's been our thing because it's Newfoundland. For me, I was always extremely intrigued with the luge and the bobsled. For no other reason than there's only so many places you can do it. So I've often wondered, I'm like, if you're like in grade 10, say, and you're in Newfoundland and you're building your body up, and I guess you must have to move to Calgary. I mean that seriously as a sports fan. I don't know the answer to that question. So I'm guessing you can only be in certain parts of the world to even think about it. I know there was a Jamaican bobsled team, Cool Runnings, whatever. I don't know. I know that really happened, but does that happen all over the world? Are they in Hawaii with bobsled tracks on wheels? I really don't know. That one really intrigues me, not only because of the rarity of the athlete, because I really don't know. I met a girl in Vancouver, actually, the first person I ever met to do it, other than people who had already competed that were at a fundraiser or something. But that really intrigues me. And it's not only that, it's the skeleton, like they're going so fast, man. Like, so I just think for something that, the everyday luger or bobsledder is pretty infrequent to come across. But if you do, then they must be real good, because every time you go down there is potential death, I would think. Now, I don't want to make light. I know people died a few years ago. I just thought of that when I said it. But you know what I'm saying? It just intrigues me because I never see it, and they're going at crazy speeds. Oh, buddy, it is a wild event to watch for sure. I like ski cross, snowboard cross, where they're racing for them side by side. You come out of the gate and you're not supposed to make contact, but there's always contact, especially sometimes in midair, right? Like it's entertaining to watch. Like I love that ability. And it's hard, man. Like anybody who skis, you try to go that and you're racing with people right beside you. It just, to me, it's awesome. Like I love it. I really love it. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to there's a lot, man. Short track speed skating is wild. It's kamikaze. You got these long blades on, and you're in a short spot, and you're jockeying for a position, their elbows, and you're pushing, and then you got to have an unreal kick sometimes to get in. And when they do the relay on the short track, that's even more entertaining, man. Like it's wild. You're shifting people in and out and at high speeds. It's phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to it. I have to say I'm kind of intrigued. I know a lot of people, hey, flag football is coming in the summer of 2028. And I don't know. Like, Cons, you're a big football guy. What do you make of flag football?
I mean, the United States should run away with it. Like, let's be honest. I think there's going to be teams that play competitive, maybe similar to like the women's hockey, where it's like you have Canada, US, and they should be meeting in the gold medal final. And then maybe you have some other teams that grow and build a program from it. Maybe some other players get a chance to play for other countries, things of that sort. But I mean, that's ridiculous. If the United States doesn't pick up the gold there, it'll be funny. And I mean, I am intrigued to see, though, the players that do want to go out there and do it. I mean, the NFL will have a long list of players with the capabilities to do so. And, we've heard the stories of the players that are already on the flag football team for the United States want to compete. They'll get their opportunity. But, I mean, if you're to go out there and say Mahomes to Jefferson, Chase, Kyle Pitts, or, whoever it might be, Brock Bowers, like, how do you stop that? How is a team from any nation going to slow that down? So I kind of think in a way it's a bit of a joke because it shouldn't be any competition at all. But I'm also intrigued to watch it to see, what the Canadians can do.
See, I'm wondering if there's no competition, why have it? And I say this because I played ball hockey for so long, and I've seen Italy knock off Canada. I've seen so many 16 teams go to the Worlds, and you never know. And I've seen India play Czech in the final. We've lost in the quarters. I don't understand it. So many people play worldwide. It'll probably be in the Summer Olympics, but I just don't get it. And I know the people with Canada, I know they've tried, get into the Pan Am Games or something, but it doesn't make sense to me that we've got ice hockey. We don't have ball hockey where everybody plays it, and it's so easy to grow. You don't have to skate. And we go to the Worlds every year. There's I've been to the Worlds, and 10,000 people played in front of 10,000 in Bratislava. And yet we're going to put flag football. And like you said, if it's not Canada-US, it should be, unless there's something we don't know, the U.S. should be in the – we know that going in, yet they'll put tiddlywinks. I don't understand it, why ball hockey is not considered.
Dude, I'm told you got field hockey in there. Why don't you have ball hockey? I totally agree with you.
Just so you guys know, last 5 winners, United States, not surprisingly. Outside of that, though, Austria has been very good.
At what? Flag football?
Flag football, yeah. They've won three times they've won.
I mean, as I sit here, I have no idea what it is. We don't have football here much. We all watch it just like anywhere else. Everybody bets, the NFL's. But growing up, there was none. Now there's one little group of 8 people or something. I don't want to anybody's listening from Newfoundland, but I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. Once I saw people playing a little bit of football, but there's no high school teams or anything. So as far as flag, I don't know. That just to me means take out the hitting. Am I wrong?
Well, I mean, essentially, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
No equipment, obviously. Differences, I think, probably with the offensive line. I don't know how many people line up with the official rules here. And then instead of tackling, you're pulling that flag away. So, well, I'm sure it eases maybe NFL teams a little bit to send some of their players and let them go participate, along with the CFL as well.
To me, it just seems like we're trying to create something. Oh, who knows who's going to go? Well, maybe it's just weird. And I just use ball hockey as an example because it's well established. There's a world championship on the men's and women's side. There's 10 teams that can win it. It happens every year. The nationals happen. They're highly attended. All kinds of people play. Ice hockey, you don't have to just play ice hockey. All kinds of people play that are just ball hockey players. Easy to grow. Anyway, I've said my piece on ball hockey. There it is.
I love it. TR's fired up on ball hockey. It's fan. It is true, though. I know and we got a lot of texters from people. Finally, someone speaks up for ball hockey. Well, there you go. There's lots of people, and I get it. Quick break. We'll return it to Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood.
Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open. Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K smart TV for just $999. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match. Save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocksyeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Rolling through Thursday afternoon. Hope you are having a lovely day. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. Of course, the Oilers, like there's still 14 teams who play tonight, 7 games on tap, and then the NHL will be officially closed. And no games for there'll be Olympic Games, of course, but the NHL will resume action on Wednesday, the 25th. That's when the NHL will resume. And of course, that will include the Edmonton Oilers on the road against the Quackers. And the team they play the next night, the LA Kings, are also playing. They will be hosting Vegas. So when the Oilers do play the Kings on that second game of the back-to-back, the Kings will also be playing back-to-back. Now, let's talk a little NHL as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center, just minutes south of Edmonton and South Edmonton Common. Summit's your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Check it out. Summit Restaurant in Silent Ice Center. As Eric Engels, senior columnist with Sportsnet, joins us. Eric, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Guys, I'm not that close, but I'm not that far from where you are.
What the hell does that mean? Are you in Calgary?
No, I drove. I flew into Calgary this morning. I got in a rental car. I was in Winnipeg last night, and I drove out to Golden, BC, where I'm going to ski a kicking horse this week.
Oh,
so.
Nice. Good choice. Say hi to Ken Chillibeck while you're out there.
Yeah, I'll do that. We just need some snow.
Yes.
So pray to the snow gods for us.
Pray to the snow gods. All right. Lots of teams. Well, some teams will be praying to the hockey gods that the break gives them some luck. But I do think this 3-week break can give some teams maybe a little bit more time to exhale and look and say, okay, should we be sellers? And like, I look at Toronto. Toronto's got 25 games left. They're 6 points back of Boston, who has the currently the second wild card spot. And then I look at the Panthers. They're 8 points back now they play tonight, so if they win, they could move technically 6 back of Boston and be even in games in hand. But I was looking historically, like 6 and 8 points in 25 games is actually quite a bit to make up.
Yeah, But last year after the Four Nations face-off, you know what happened in Montreal?
Yeah, they were down. I think they were down 4 points, right? Wasn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember specifically. If it wasn't that, it was a little bit more, and they did what they did. Columbus was in the same situation. Now they've rattled off this year, once again, 10 wins under Rick Bowness in the first 11 games, which is totally not shocking because I think he's a phenomenal coach. And they just needed that type of spark, and that's not something against Dean Evason, who I also think did an unbelievable job last year. This league, just when you think you have it figured out and you know what's going to happen, especially with the dynamics of these Olympic years and the condensed schedule from last year, don't go betting the mortgage on all of it. Now, if you're in Toronto, I think you got to look at things clear-eyed. And I think if you're in Florida, you got to look at things clear-eyed and balance it with the fact that you're the two-time Stanley Cup defending champions, and you're going to try and make a run as you come back to a little bit more health and catch your breath coming out of the break. But look, the odds are obviously not in their favor. So with 3 games to go to the deadline for most teams, if you haven't made up your mind by now, I'm not sure what's going to change it over 3 games.
Yeah, no, hey, that's exactly it, right? Like, what are those 3 games? Like, you got to hope maybe you win all of them. Like, Florida is the interesting one to me because, like Bobrovsky, maybe the break will do him good, but man, he has not been good at all. Like, not close to a guy who's back-to-back Stanley Cup champs. And in this league, if you don't have goaltending, Eric, it's really hard to have a chance.
Yeah, it's chicken egg too. Like, it's not like the Panthers have been will beaters this year. And
No,
it's understandable given the fatigue of the last 2 years, the condensed schedule, and missing, the most important player to their team wire to wire, not to mention Matthew Tkachuk for most of it, and other injuries that have occurred. Can Bob be better? Yeah. I just look at them and say 3 weeks off for at least some of them. I don't know what to make of Barkov skating. It's funny. I sat down with Kirby Doc at the beginning of the year, and we talked about the fact that for people who don't know Kirby's story, even though they probably should in Alberta, right? He's an Alberta kid. Tore his ACL and MCL. Was supposed to be a 9-month recovery. And he said the worst thing about that whole recovery is that the minute he started feeling stronger again, the hockey player instincts kicked in, and it was like, okay, let's push this through the rehab. Let's try to get through faster. And that was the most volatile point for his knee in terms of building up the necessary strength for the surgery to take and fusion to take hold within that knee and the reconstruction. And I worry about that when I look at Barkov. Like, I look at him skating now and trying to push because he's such a competitor and he's such an incredible player, and he sees where the Panthers are at and doesn't want to see another opportunity to be competitive if they make the playoffs get squandered by his absence. It's amazing to me that they just didn't kind of shut him down for the year, but obviously they don't want to take the hope out of his hands. But if they had, what might have Bill Zito done as a short-term kind of bridge solution, knowing that, the long-term IR rules have changed and you need a player to essentially be guaranteed he's not essentially, to be guaranteed he's not coming back in the playoffs. So I don't know how that's all going to play out. I just feel like they'll make a push here. But again, like, I look at Columbus and they're the team to me that's like, they're going to be a problem for somebody that's in this playoff picture right now. It's just a question of which division they'll be a problem for.
TR.
Eric, I saw you interviewed Jeff Gordon recently. You think the Habs, you get the sense they'll be aggressive? And if so, what do you think they need?
The desire's there, right? But they're kind of like looking at all opportunities that could possibly land in their lap, knowing that they have a very deep team, that they're going to be at full health coming out of the break, that they don't need to force anything while keeping their long-term plan intact. It's a great position to be in. Like, on one side of it, you look at it and say, damn, they've got the 6th best record in the NHL, and they've pretty much been there since the start of October. There have been a couple little dips, most of them due to goaltending just not being up to par at certain segments of the season, and yet the youngest team in the league in the most competitive division has set the pace at points or kept up with it all the way along. And I think they're very excited by the maturity of the group, by what they see from a night-to-night basis and the way they're able to correct themselves when problems occur. I think they also know that there's still maturing that needs to happen just organically for a very young core, and they need some of the heavies that you need come playoff time. Like we know, the game has changed. It's more skilled. It's faster. It's more exciting. And in the playoffs, the recipe to win has not changed. There's nothing that's changed about it. So they know that, and they'll treat the remaining, however many games are left. They played 57 as a simulation to get them prepared for it, because I think they're headed that way. They've shown the maturity to at least show that they're in a good spot. But yeah, I think Jeff Gordon and Ken Hughes are sitting back and saying, who's going to put something in our lap that we can't turn away from? And it's not like they're not going to go out chasing some things, but they have the opportunity to be selective with it based on the depth of their roster and not needing to force anything.
Sticking on Montreal, what do you think Point being out, how would that change Nick Suzuki's role in Canada?
Yeah, I was just tweeting about it, right? Like Jarvis is going. I think it's great that Jarvis is going. And the reason he's going, obviously, is his versatility, right? If you lose a player in one portion or another of your lineup, Jarvis is a player that can come in and help. I think people in Edmonton are probably really pissed off that it's not Zach Hyman. But I think in Zach Hyman's case, you need to lose a specific type of player for him to be the ideal fit in that role versus he can play any role. And I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm sure Winnipeg Jets fans are saying, how is Mark Scheifele, what's it going to take for them to consider Mark Scheifele? And I think, there's some obvious questions that come with why he's not in this mix and how many players they'd go down the line before naming him. The points are there, the play is there. Is there something else that, they look at and say, this is not the Team Canada characteristics we're looking for? It's impossible not to think about it. There's some other guys, Connor Bedard, again, kind of falls more into the Hyman category of if he comes in, he fits just a specific role. Nick Suzuki's a Swiss Army knife. If I think of Braden Point leaving the lineup and who the most likely guy is to benefit from that, not that anybody should benefit from somebody else's terrible luck, because it's horrible to see that Olympic dream fall apart right on the precipice of it coming true. But if I'm John Cooper and the guys on that bench, I'm looking at Nick Suzuki and saying, he could do what Point was probably designated to do on this team. And we may have had him in this spot, but we could put him in that. And that's the thing about Nick Suzuki. You put him anywhere, he's going to be great. Not to mention that he's the 5th highest scoring Canadian since the Four Nations, and he's the 10th highest scoring player in the league. The guy's an incredible player.
Eric Engels joins us. The Montreal Canadiens, a much better team than the team that made the playoffs last year, because last year was like 91 points, but you Habs got more experience. They're better. They're in a battle with Detroit. And also the surging Buffalo Sabres. You got to go back to the Adams division, maybe, when you could have a Habs rivalry like them in Buffalo right now. They just played. The Sabres look like they're legit, where on December 8th, everybody thought they were selling everybody off and they were going to be brutal. And, rarely do you get a GM bump, but clearly they've got an extended one. And their defense is good. And you look at the Sabres, they're like Alex Tuck, people, maybe he'll get traded. He ain't getting traded. But you look at that, the Red Wings, the Canadiens, and the Sabres. They're probably two of those three teams will probably finish second and third. I just think Tampa Bay is a better team, and they have games at hand on the other three. So out of does Montreal match up better against Buffalo? Do they match up better against Detroit? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, I'm really not sure. It's so hard to handicap. The teams are so close. You can only imagine what would have happened if the Senators had goaltending this season.
Yeah,
and I know it's come a little. It's coming on better now, and much later than they would have wanted. But can you imagine how much even crazier this division would be with them being who they should be? They're a good team. They're a really good team. Buffalo, much like Montreal, has that depth and a quality blue line and can be very dangerous, and they can also be dangerous to themselves in terms of the way they play. That's not to take anything away from what they've done. They've been the hottest team in the league for over 2 months. That's not a fluke. I remember, when they were in Montreal a couple of weeks ago, I turned to Jason Zucker and just looked at him and said, what the hell took so long? And he looked at me and said, that's what we've been saying to each other like every day here. Like, they know what they have. Now, can they figure out how to play the right way? Can they figure out how to play? I know it's gotten them 2 incredible months plus, but can they play the way that will lend them to be that much more successful down the stretch? It's yet to be determined, and we'll see what happens tonight against Pittsburgh, who's like turning back the clock to 2008. Like, I don't know what's going on there. That's been incredible to watch. I just look at all those teams that you mentioned, guys. Who do you think is better out of the 3 of those teams? I don't know that you could definitively say, oh, Montreal's better than Detroit and Buffalo, so I like their chances, or oh, Detroit's better than Buffalo and Montreal, and oh, Buffalo's better than those 2. Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
And as much as I do know, that I don't know.
Yeah. What's interesting is really it comes because we all know the playoff games are very different, right? They're more physical. They just are, right? And that's how playoffs have always been. And a lot of it comes down to matchups, right? Like, you look at the LA Kings. Could the Kings have beaten other teams in the playoffs the last 4 years? Yeah, I think they could have. They just are a terrible matchup for them to play the Oilers. It was just Edmonton has better center depth. They could never match it. It didn't matter what happened. Even when Edmonton gifted them 2 games, they still couldn't win. And so we don't know because Montreal, like, they were in the playoffs last year finally, but they don't have a long history. Buffalo hasn't been in forever. Detroit hasn't been in a long time. And so that's what makes it intriguing to me. It's just, I think if you're those teams, you look and say, I just want to be second or third. I just don't want to face Tampa Bay in the first round with all their experience and Vasilevsky. I think that's the one thing I don't want to do if I'm those teams.
Tampa has the lead to lose. Tampa has the games in hand.
Yeah.
But it's gone incredibly well for them without a lot of key players this year. Yes. And I don't doubt what they have and what they're able to do. But again, you come off the Olympic break and you never know how this is going to go. And it's not as if like it's impossible that they would go through a 6-game losing streak. That could happen. They've rattled off how many 6 to 8 game winning streaks. It's like crazy. Inevitably, you see the other side of it. It happens. So I don't think any of those teams that we're talking about, for them, that they're looking at it and saying first place isn't a possible thing in this division. Getting back to like the playoff matchup thing, if I'm Montreal, I think Detroit is a better matchup for them potentially than Buffalo, and yet they're tied with both teams, I think, in the head-to-head. And Tampa, they've done pretty well against. They got blown out in one game. They won another. Another one was pretty close. I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but it's something like that. They're competitive. So I don't know. I don't even know how to handicap it. I feel like Detroit's biggest reason for being that much better this year is goaltending. It's been a huge thing for them. Buffalo, you could point to like 6 different things, which makes them a scary opponent for just about anybody. And Montreal, it's the depth, it's the talent, it's the maturity, it's the closeness of the group. And it is some real superstar talent for the first time in decades. I mean, Wayne Hudson is appointment viewing. Ivan Demidov is incredible already and just scratching the surface of what he's going. I'm going to make a very bold declaration here that within 5 years, he's going to be a top 10, if not top 5 player in the league. He's that good. He's insanely good, and he's so competitive. And that's the difference with both those guys, and Hudson and Demidov. And look at what Slavkovsky's doing this year, guys. Like the guy's a dinosaur on skates who flies, and this guy's a sick shot, and he plays heavy, and he's everything they thought he was going to be when they drafted him first overall. So and then, you got Caulfield and Suzuki, and they're not guys you just sneeze at. So it's very impressive, not to mention their blue line. Their blue line, to me, I put them up against any blue line in the league. It's got everything and speed, and it's hard to play against, and they're growing. There's room for growth for them. So can they figure out as a team how to really lock it down defensively from here to the end of the season? That's the big question.
What do you think they'll look for at the trade deadline?
Oh, like a Terry Ryan type. Like a guy who's not afraid to block a shot with his face, a guy who can score goals, a guy who plays with edge, a guy who brings guys into the fight a la Brendan Gallagher, but has a bit more of that upside offensively that Gallagher once had. Like, whether he plays center, whether he plays wing, whether he plays rover, I don't think they care. Like, just get as much competitiveness into this lineup as they can find. And we'll see something exciting. I think they're looking for it. I think they're also wondering if it'll fall in their lap. And if it doesn't, they go with what they have and keep growing and building. And we know where this team is going. Like this is a team that is, to me, is going to be, if not the most compelling team in Canada, the most exciting one for a long time. And I think they see it, and a lot of people around the league see it, and they're excited about it.
Eric, appreciate your time. Enjoy the Olympics, man. Enjoy skiing. Hope you get some snow.
Yeah, me too. Take care, guys.
There you go. That's Eric Engels from Sportsnet. Do you think like Montreal's got some good young players? There's no question about it. My one concern, and TR, you follow the Habs closer than I do. My one concern about Montreal, come playoffs, all their best players are smaller, except Slafkovsky.
Yeah, always happens. It happens all the time. And like I said, like in my experience, I was there. They had a plan, and I believe, I'm looking back when Patrick Waugh, I remember when he walked off the bench and he said never again, and they traded him when they cleaned house. But right before that, they picked me, all in a few years, Turner Stevenson, Darcy Tucker, Aaron Asham, Brad Brown. They were going that route. Jesse Razanzoff, Boyd Olsen, didn't fight much, he's from Edmonton, but two-way player, and back down from absolutely nothing. So they were going that route. And they didn't make the playoffs the year before, and I believe that was but whatever happened then, they changed their minds. And all those guys, and Tucker went immediately he wore an A, he got traded to Tampa. He was wearing an A as a rookie before the year ended. Aaron Asham became successful, everybody I mentioned, right? And so I hope they don't make that mistake again. I'm not saying because of me and take me out of the equation. I'm just saying I'm part of that blueprint that they wanted, right? So clearly, and whether you like my game or not, the way I played, that style, Chris Murray, there's another one. Geez, a great player. Memorial Cup winner with Kamloops, shot right. A little tiny bit bigger than me, definitely tougher. He considered himself a middleweight. I would argue against that. I think he was a heavyweight. Someone like that, and maybe even two guys like that, or hell, three. But whatever it is, they need that element, and we all see it every single year not every single, but most years when the Canadians are done, whether they make the playoffs or not, or they get there and they lose in the first round, or 4 or 5 years ago, the final, whatever it would be, they're usually, that's one of the knocks. Why did we lose? God, we just didn't have that grit. We just didn't have that. Now, mind you, when they made the final, they had Shea Weber and company, but that's a presence. But that, to me, that's the only thing every year I worry about, because I think Eric mentioned it, or Matt earlier, the game has changed. It's evolved. It's evolved over the years. It's in obvious ways. If you look at the game now, regular season, and look at the 70s, but look at the playoffs, it has not changed as much. There was never a lot of fighting in the playoffs. It happens, and it'll happen again this year. People get pissed off towards the end of a game, but there was always a bit of a leash on that. So in the 80s, fighting kind of tailed off a bit going into the playoffs. Nowadays, it's still around, not quite as much. That's very similar. And you need you need guys with grit. What even back then probably would have been an exaggerated version of it. But the game, it's just hard to play. 4 rounds, 7 games, and you got to be ready to go. You got to have leaders. It's as much off the ice as it is on. You got to be ready. Mental adversity, physical, and the guys like I mentioned, Zach Hyman steps it up. You don't have to be dropping your gloves. I just mean certain players step up. And every year, the same thing happens in the NHL playoffs. If you were to watch an NHL playoff game now, as opposed to the 80s, they look a lot more similar than a regular season game. And we say the same thing. And the Habs usually are missing that one ingredient. They need someone or multiple people with more grit. And hopefully they've learned their lesson, because we'll see at the trade deadline.
Quick break. We'll come back with 5 questions. Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, and more. As always brought to you by playalberta.ca.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
It only comes once a year.
Aw, Valentine's Day.
What? No, from the top. It only comes once a year.
Oh, here we go. The Rock and Roll Super Party, only at On the Rocks.
Join host Ryan Jesperson on Sunday, February 8th.
At OTR for the biggest football party in Edmonton.
Your $30 ticket includes
all-you-can-eat buffet, commemorative t-shirts, prepaid Miller Lights, and entry to all prizes, including
$1,000 cash.
The Rock and Roll Super Party.
Only at On the Rocks.
Book your table today.
OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. London isn't calling, but Milan is calling for many athletes as they head over for the Olympics. Some, of course, are already there because the Olympics have officially begun. Mixed curling, women's hockey already underway, opening ceremonies early tomorrow morning. If you want to get up and watch them, if you are a fan of the ceremonies, Cons is I think it's like 6 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. You might want to check that out for sure. But it's lots of the events and stuff like that will be happening. Or is tomorrow, actually, maybe tomorrow's a little bit later. We might want to know exactly when the opening ceremonies begin. tomorrow. But there will be some games, as I mentioned. If Canada makes it to the men's gold medal, that'll be a Sunday, 6:10 Edmonton time in the morning. Puck drop. Some of you diehards will probably be staying up all night. Others will just set the alarm, get ready to go, because what's great about big events and big games is people who aren't diehard fans, they like to be a part of it, which makes it better. I'm sure in your own household, you got, your husband, your wife, your daughter, somebody who's not really a big fan, but it's a gold medal game. Oh, well, I'm a fan now, which is totally fine. Just makes it a little bit more enjoyable. You've seen that a lot in the playoffs the last few years in Edmonton. People who aren't huge fans, they get behind the team in the playoffs, and I think you'll see a lot of people get behind the teams for the Olympics. And not just that, for curling, for short. Anytime there's a gold medal or any medal on the line for a Canadian, it's kind of cool now that that's the one thing you can get notifications if you want to find out going for a medal. It's always fun to watch. So hopefully we get a lot of medals. That'll be nice. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. You got a few days left for the Friends and Family Savings. You can get in-store only up to 50% off clearance mattresses and 60% off clearance scratch and dent appliances. And when it says scratch and dent, it's like minor, but you get 60% off. It's an unreal deal. Check it out at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. The opening ceremony, noon Mountain Time, 8 o'clock over in Italy. What's number 1 for you? And, of course, in his posting comments, the word coach came out of Leon Draisaitl's mouth. Of course, social media overreacts, gets fired up. So I'm going to ask you both, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the likelihood that a coaching change could happen for the Edmonton Oilers?
0.
Yeah. But if you're asking me first, I don't unless they go 0-10 or something crazy after. I just don't. I don't see that happening. It wasn't on my bingo card. Maybe it was on your guys, but I haven't thought of that all year. And it seems we might criticize here and there, but I think he's doing a fine job.
Question number 2, just on the topic of that. Who do you think are the top 3 coaches that are not currently coaching in the NHL?
Who do you think of? Oof. You see, it's interesting. I see a lot of Oiler fans, and I don't get it. They're like, oh, the Oilers should go get Pete DeBoer. And I'm like, what? Did you guys not? Knobloch schooled Pete DeBoer in that series last year. Matchups and lots of different things. I'm not bringing in Pete DeBoer over him. So it's a good. I'm not. Best coach is not running a bench right now. It's hard to say. I think it. I actually like Barry. I thought Barry Trotz is a very good coach. He's currently a GM, but I don't think he's going to do it anymore. But I think some of the best coaches, the coaches we don't know about who are in junior, haven't got a chance yet. I'll say that. I think some of the old treads are the old treads. They're the same old, but I don't necessarily think they're the best.
Yeah, I mean, of guys who've been there, Gerard Gallant, I'm a big fan of. I didn't mind Jay Woodcroft, although I just don't know the field. You're right. There's got to be some great up-and-coming coaches out there, some of whom I probably played with or against. But yeah, I guess if you keep it at that, DeBoer is seemed to be a decent coach. That's decent, putting it mildly. Gallant and Barry Ryan Sr. There you go. Barry Ryan Sr., the old Mount Pro Blades junior coach, Atlantic champ. There, I'll throw him in.
Like one name, if I'm going to throw a name out there, who I think all he's done is win, and if that's the barometer, I don't care that he doesn't interview well. But Todd Nelson obviously knows what he's doing. He's had lots of success at lots of levels, but he never gets success in the NHL because allegedly he doesn't interview well. Who the hell cares? Like what? I'm like what does he not interview well? Because does he coach well? That's what I'd be asking. Right? I'd try to sit down. And then the other guy who I think David Carl is going to be a name in the future that people are going to see as an NHL head coach.
Question?
Not interviewing well shouldn't even be a thing. The whole year is an interview. I mean, just look at a resume, for God's sake. Interview well.
Question number 3 for you guys. Super Bowl on Sunday. What do you think is the most underrated Super Bowl party food item? So I always ask you the best. What's the most underrated?
So yeah, That's pretty much anything on the table. Here in Newfoundland, I'll say I like a good party with some fish cakes. I love fish cakes, and they come out at some Super Bowl parties here. There you go, a little bit of a Newfoundland vernacular for you.
I'm going to say roasted cauliflower. So good. It's underrated, TR. You should try it. I'll send you the recipe.
It clearly is, because that you could have given me 1,000 guesses for you, and I wouldn't have picked that. So clearly it's underrated because I didn't have it on the chart. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah, buddy, it's so good, man. Oh, so good.
Question number 4. At this point in time, is there an NBA team that stood out to you in terms of their dealings at the trade deadline?
Cons, you go first.
Oh, man. How could I go away from the Toronto Raptors bringing in the vet? I'd
Get
say
out of here.
just standing out, I'm going to say the Milwaukee Bucks not moving on from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like we thought it was going to happen, and this was a guy who I thought would go to contender and, get a chance to go for rings for the next few years. And I don't know if there was some, cold feet, or if it was a situation where there just wasn't what they wanted to get in return. So I would say the Bucks for me kind of stood out because I was waiting. I was just waiting for that notification, and it never came.
You know what? I'm going to actually say the Raptors, because the Raptors didn't go after the wrong guy, which I think they've done at times in the past. Right? They made 2 minor deals, to get rid of some guys, but I actually like that the Raptors didn't go out and, because they seem, some of their deadline deals. I'm not talking Kawhi because I wasn't a trade deadline deal, by the way, but some of their acquisitions lately. So I like the fact that they said, hey, you know what? This is our group. We're not necessarily, because I don't know, like, unless you were going to get onto Antetokounmpo, I don't know if there's a player out there that really would have pushed them over the top.
I was blown away. Every expert, and again, I know a little bit more about basketball than football, but I rely on the experts. And man, I heard everybody was guaranteeing that he'd be gone. And you look at the situation, I'm just really, really surprised. So that would be the first thing that stood out. Secondly, please tell me why in the world anybody would trade for James Harden going into the playoffs. Just tell me. You don't have to know anything about basketball. Just watch a few highlights of, he knows how to get himself traded, whether it's put on a fat suit or say the wrong thing to the press or not show up or whatever it is. But they're all negative stuff. And he goes to the playoffs. He usually drops the ball, no pun intended. And it just doesn't seem like he cares. And it seems like he rips apart the odd dressing room. I just don't understand it. Maybe you guys know more than I do. Yeah, he can shoot the ball. But, come on.
Final question for you guys today. It's National Weather Person's Day. We've got a couple great ones here in the city. My question for you guys, you get to pick your perfect temperature, weather conditions. What would it be?
Go ahead, TR.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love Canada. I love where we're from. I love, passionate about my province and my country. And that won't change. But that's because I grew up here and I get it. And we have heritage and tradition and relatives and provinces and we all come together. But why? Why 400 years ago did people come here to Newfoundland? Most of them came from Europe, and all they had to do was keep floating south and you asked me about the perfect weather. I think North Carolina. Florida, I've played hockey there. I've been there a lot recently. It's just like it gets numbing to the senses that you're always on vacation, or it just feels too hot almost, like all the time. Newfoundland, Canada, like I said, I just don't understand why anybody would come here without electricity, or Alberta or anywhere north. Without electricity hundreds of years ago, why wouldn't you just go and float and end up in Florida or at least North Carolina or whatever? But that's my favorite weather. When you get into the Carolinas in the United States, I guess on that side of the world, you're talking about Oregon and then kind of Northern California, where it's not overwhelmingly hot, but you're reminded that there's seasons, but that's about it. It doesn't get absolutely backbreaking, freezing cold like it is right now here.
Yeah. Wow. If we're talking the best temperature, I will say, now it's probably because that's all I know and that's what I grew up. I like seasons. I like that it changes, and we have hot and we have cold, and then we have some warm, and we have fall and spring's all different. But if I could only live in one temperature, I agree with you. It's hard, and although I don't mind the cold, but I don't love it as much as to me the ideal temperature, weather conditions. has always been Maui. You get some rain when it comes in, but it's like warm rain, and it's never like 38. It's, I think, well, I shouldn't say never. I've never been there every month of the year, but every time I've gone, it's like 28, 27 to 31. Perfect. So that's what I would say. And not and humid enough that it, your skin breathes even more. It's amazing. So that's what it'd be for me.
Comment?
I don't love the extreme heat, so I would say perfect temperature for me. Conditions overall, probably 20 degrees and a little overcast, not too sunny. That's,
oh yeah, you're a little white.
Well, I don't think that's true, but the sun's dangerous. You gotta live with a healthy fear of the sun. So a little overcast, but 20 degrees, and I like shorts and a hoodie. If I can rock that, then I'm in a good space. So that's probably my pick.
Shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Often I've been criticized for that look. Like if you're wearing one, you don't need the other. But
you're wearing shorts and a hoodie. Are you wearing sandals or are you wearing running shoes?
Depends on the activity, of course. If I'm going to the beach, well, then the hoodie might come off, obviously. But yeah, shoes for sure.
Oh, all right. TR, do you have a Super Bowl party you are attending on Sunday?
Haven't even thought about it yet. Yeah, I'll probably hang out with my buddies one way or the other. There'll be enough on the go. Usually I head down to my local watering hole, Green Sleeves. A lot of people will end up with. It's one of those Green Sleeves, even though there's all kinds of bars, I believe the most per capita downtown than anywhere. At least that's the rumor. It always has been. On Water Street and George Street is only bars. But yeah, my buddies and I would always really gravitate. At some point, we'll all be at Green Sleeves. So that's all I really know.
Well, who are you picking to win?
Oh, I got Seattle all the way.
Ooh,
all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm going on. Again, I rely on experts, but A, I love their defense, but B, I really want them to win. I like the personnel more, and I don't. I'm not a huge New England fan. I don't hate them, but in these two choices, I'm way all over Seattle. And I lived outside of Seattle. I spent a lot of time there.
Nothing wrong with it. TR, have a good weekend. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. Chat soon.
There you go. That is Terry Ryan joins Tuesdays and Thursdays. Quick break. We'll come back. Spec will join us. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But first, let's get to Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca Quality Markets. Food that is chef prepared, healthy, tasty. Pick up 2 locations, Sherwood Park or Edmonton, or they'll deliver it right to your door. Order now. Meals.loca.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Hockey Canada announcing today that Braden Point has been ruled out of the games in Italy and will be replaced by Hurricanes forward Seth Jarvis. Jarvis represented Canada at the Four Nations Face-Off last year. Has 25 goals, 43 points in 48 games so far with the Canes on the ice tonight. Canes in New York taking on the Rangers. Devils host the Islanders. Penguins up against the Sabres. Flyers meet the Sens. We'll have the Preds and Capitals, Lightning, Panthers, and the Kings in Vegas. Canadian curlers Brett Glant and Jocelyn Peterman succeeded their first true test at the mixed doubles at the Winter Games, defeating Norway 6-3 and Italy 7-2. Canada now tied for top spot with Great Britain at 3-0 in the association tonight. The Toronto Raptors will host the Bulls, tip off 5:30. Elsewhere, Spurs meet the Mavericks, Suns host the Warriors, and the Sixers taking on the Lakers. And from the world of Major League Baseball, back-to-back American League Cy Young winner Tariq Skubal won his case against the Detroit Tigers and will now earn $32 million next season. Coming up in Hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and Michael Hurley from CBS Boston will join us to look at the Patriots. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you.
Afternoon.
At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59,900. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K Smart TV for just $999. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match and save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EUL. Get your power play amped up with EUL, supplying the city of champions in Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EUL.ca is your partner in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.508. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Howley. We roll through here on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You can always text the show, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Of course, Olympics have begun with some events already ongoing, mixed curling, women's hockey. Canada actually had their game postponed until next Thursday against Finland. And then in a very odd decision, they're practicing, but they don't have any players available to the media. I don't get it. I have a lot of women's sports. Oh, no one covers us. But I will say, and Connor Halley can prove, I've had this show for 20 years. I can tell you, in a lot of cases, some of the hardest people to track down to get anybody ever on the show are from the women's sports leagues. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. We have NHL GMs, and we've got NFL GMs, NBA GMs. It's like pulling teeth to try to get one. I don't understand. I really don't. So it's an odd decision for me, for sure. But who knows what they're thinking. Like literally, people travel across the world to Italy to cover the team, but they only make their coach available, not the players. What? Makes no sense to me. PR fail is what that would be. PR fail. Man, if I was someone who was traveling to cover the team, I would be pissed. Let's get to, by the way, Gregor Show is always brought to you by playalberta.ca. We got some extra odds boost specials, of course, every day for the show. We have get in later tonight. Maybe a little action on the Vegas and the Kings. Over 5.5. And that Tampa Bay, Florida, it's too bad there's lots of guys out of that game for injuries on both sides. It probably won't have the same snarl, but you never know. It might. It's become a really good rivalry between the Panthers and the Lightning. Maybe a game you want to watch tonight. So check it out, playalberta.ca. Let's get to the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction, underground infrastructure specialists that make your life more enjoyable. Simple things like running water, indoor plumbing. They are the grinders, the unheralded, underappreciated people in construction. GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how are you, my man?
Sorry, I'm not available today. You'll have to talk to Wrigley, my dog.
Like, am I wrong on that? Like, is that a weird, like, it's a very strange decision, is it not?
Yeah. The Olympics I've covered a few Olympics, and it's not exclusive to women's hockey, although Hockey Canada can be one of the worst organizations you've ever tried to deal with in your life. But it's Olympic sports in general, the bobsledder, the weightlifter, the table tennis guy. For 3 years and 10 months, they go, man, you guys don't ever cover us, and you don't give us exposure. How are we supposed to grow with no media? So you go to the Olympics, and then you get over there, and it's the only time in 4 years, frankly, anyone cares how a weightlifter is doing. And you go to write a story, and they go, oh, no, we're too busy. Can't talk to us now. And you go, okay, well, I'll see you in 4 years. Like, it's an amateur, like it's amateur sports. And the stress, Jason, is often on the word amateur, right?
Yeah. Last night, Spec, I know you were in the scrum with Leon Draisaitl. I read your article, and you're just like, yeah, the Oilers are an average team. I thought it was very good. Like, I don't think Leon Draisaitl called out people. Like, I don't think he just said, hey, coaches have to be better, leaders have to be better, goalie has to be better, defense has to be better. And everything he said was true. I don't really view it as a calling out. You were there, did you?
No, the context was really lost online in some places today. Like, for instance, the quote about the goalies, my question was basically, Tristan Jarry just sat here and told us he's got to be way better to give you guys a chance to win. What are your thoughts on that? And he went on at some length about how they work hand in hand, was his quote. He said, we got to play better so he's got a chance to play good. He says, we got to do a lot of things better. We got to limit the chances. And the very last line of his quote was, there are some saves that our goalies are going to have to start to make eventually.
Sure.
So fair, right? He's
Yes.
a leader on that team. He can say what he wants, and he's absolutely right. But what happened online today was I saw several tweets where all it was Draisaitl said the goalies are going to have to start making some saves around here.
Yeah, it's misrepresented.
That's part of the quote that he intended to lead with. So it does get, this is social media at its finest, right?
Yeah. But that's another, like, they lost to the Flames 3 times this year, Spec. And Jarry's right. Like, I didn't like the first goal. I didn't like the fourth goal. And I like Jarry. Hey, you know what? If we kept it 2-2, we probably win. Now, Calgary didn't like Kapanen's goal either. So let's call a spade here. That wasn't a great goal. And, Edmonton had some chances, but at the end of the day, they lost again. And their penalty kill suddenly has, like, in 5 games, Spec. So I looked it up. They're actually, their first 53 games, they were 10th in the NHL at 80.9%. And now they've dropped over 4.5 percentage points in 5 games. You know how hard that is to do? You know why you've done it? Because you went like 6 in a row allowing a goal. Like, it was awful. The first 2 against Calgary, 2 for 2 for Toronto, 2 of 3 for Minnesota. And suddenly they're like, the penalty killer's like, hey, you know what? We're not going to worry about the guy behind us. How the hell do you give up 2 stretch passes in 3 games on the penalty kill? Like, that is mind-numbing to me.
It really is. And it's goofy. Like, I don't know. It's easy to blame the coaches, and I'll hear you out if that's what you think. But I also want to say these are the same guys that were on the ice killing penalties around here for a long time. A coach doesn't have to tell Matthias Ekholm and Bouchard, hey, don't let a guy get behind you. Like, they don't need that advice, and they shouldn't need that advice. So, the guys on the PK, there should be some muscle memory here, Jason. They don't need to get coached at, how many games has Matthias Ekholm played? Like, I don't know, 900 or something? Does he really need a coach to instruct him in killing penalties, to watch that, make sure there's no breakaway pass guy behind him? Like, I don't get it. There's a bunch of guys on that Oilers team. I'll tell you, this break comes at a good time because there's a bunch of guys that are all playing bad in their own way, and the product isn't very good right now. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. The one thing the coach can improve on, Spec, that to me I think is very easy. He's got to stop. Like, I was joking earlier, give yourself a safe word and get your assistant coach to yell at you when you want to play McDavid and Draisaitl together. It's not working. All year long, it hasn't worked. They're only +1 5-on-5. Draisaitl away from McDavid has outscored the opposition 35-26. When he's with McDavid, it's 17-16. What is he doing? Like, enough's enough. If you want to do it after the penalty kill, okay, I actually get it. But other than that, it makes no sense unless it's late in a 1-goal game and you're trying to tie it. Stop doing it in the first period. Stop doing it in the second tier. It just weakens your team. It makes it way easier for the other team to shut you down. It's just dumb.
Yeah, this is an affliction. Todd McClellan said to me the other day, I wish he was in this conversation. Whenever I last talked to him, Detroit must have been through here. And he said, you media guys, what a bunch of jokers. He says, all you ever do is talk about how you'd never played McDavid and Draisaitl together. If I put you behind the NHL bench, you'd have those guys in the same line in 30 seconds. That's what McCullen said. But I'm with you. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. We've watched, going back to Dave Tippett in this town, coaches succumb to what we've called the nuclear option. And it is okay once in a while. It is okay after a PK. It is okay, 10 minutes left, 3-2, you're down by a goal. That's great. But it always goes this direction, Jason. It bleeds into, well, it works late in the third period. Let's try it in the second. Oh, geez, we had a tough start. Let's try it in the first. And before you know it, you have what I like to call the Derek Ryan syndrome. He's the only guy among depth players in this town that's had the cojones to stand up and say, this is wrecking our team because the rest of the guys are sitting on the bench. We don't have any role. We don't feel any like we're being leaned on to help win games. We're not given the responsibility to help around here. Every time there's trouble on this team, and I'm paraphrasing Ryan here, Derek Ryan, but this is what he said. Every time something needs doing, they toss 29.97 over the boards. The rest of us sit around the bench twiddling our thumbs. And we're exactly back in that spot right this second. Gee, the bottom six isn't any good, Jason. Yeah, no kidding, right? No kidding, they're no good. They're standing around. They might as well buy tickets, right? They might as well buy tickets to watch the show.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I decided to take a few minutes and look it up, and I'm like, oh, Matthias Janmark. Let's see how many minutes a night he plays. Check it out. Oh, this guy plays 12 minutes a night. 12. And he has one goal. That's it. Like, how many more minutes should Matthias Janmark play? And, the lowest of the regular guys is the one guy who has an argument would be Curtis Lazar. Curtis Lazar doesn't even play 9 minutes. He's the one guy. Trent Frederick, who's done a whole lot of nothing in 30 games, still plays just under 11 minutes a night. So if you look at fourth-line guys around the NHL, there's not many fourth-line guys playing 12 minutes a night and just under 11. So I'm not sold that I really agree with that one. Like, look, Rosovic, 16 minutes. Colson, 15. Kapanen, I'd probably like to see up a little bit more. That one's fair. He's at 14, right? But, Andre Mangiapane, despite everything, is still averaging 12.42 a night, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's because there's certain situations. I'd probably have to dive deeper. But if I look at overall minutes played, your fourth-line guys around the league aren't playing 12 minutes a night like Matthias Janmark. I can tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. But I guess I'd ask you how many of those minutes are killing penalties.
Janmark, I can tell you, Janmark plays 133 a game on the penalty kill.
Okay, so he's playing 10 minutes a night of 5-on-5.
Yeah, which is more than a lot of other fourth-line guys around the league.
That's right. I'm not here to tell you Matthias Janmark's going to fill your net. It's not what I'm here to tell you. But there's a line you walk. I mean, I don't know how you can, like, what are you saying? Keep McDavid and Draisaitl apart, but continue to play the top two lines a whole bunch and play your third and fourth line whenever you can fit them in?
Well, I could see if you want to say, hey, let's give my third line an extra minute. I'm totally valid for that. Minute and a half even. That I can buy into. I think in Edmonton here, it's gotten to this whole fourth line stuff. And I've outlined it. Look at Florida when they won the cup. Their fourth line played 7.5 minutes. Their wingers and their center played 9.5 because he got a little bit of PK time in last year. And then the year before was 8.5 minutes. But here's the difference, Spec. Their fourth line guys, when they got on the ice, they did something. They hammered and they got noticed, right? So Edmonton has, like, no offense to Derek Ryan, he's in his shadow in his 8 minutes, right? So it is different. So if Edmonton says, hey, we want guys like, Trent Frederick should be more of a hammer, not just a nail, right? And so I get that they want guys to play more, but the numbers don't back up the complaint on that. I just don't like the loading up the top line too often, because I think that what that does is it neuters your rest of your team. Because now you're saying we got one line that scores and we're going to hope our second. Why not just keep Draisaitl apart? Because the numbers say they're better. And if he's apart, Spec, you're going to rotate three lines more often. You're not just going to double shift two lines, right? You're going to rotate them more often.
Listen, however we want to slice this up, they've got to find at least a third line that helps out around here, right? They got to find a third line that you can count on. And if you go the Florida route, Jay, and you play your fourth line 7 minutes, but you play your third line gets a decent amount of time, call it 13, 14 minutes or whatever. If they're productive and they're useful, great. That's good enough for me. I don't need 4 lines every night. But what's going on right now, it's just, they're behind every game right now. And the minute they get behind, they put Draisaitl and McDavid together. The lines get all screwed up, and we'll get back into the same, rotation that we've been watching here. And it's not working. It's just not working. So there needs to be, where does it start? Does it start with the coach making that decision that I'm okay with being behind and I'm not going to panic? Does it start with a team that doesn't allow the first goal and fall behind every night? And this team hasn't held a lead since I think it was the first period of the Minnesota game 3 games ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when you chase every game, you lose most of them. And right now, that's what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. No, there's not much arguing on that. The Oilers have played 58 games, and they've scored first 28 times, and they've allowed the first goal 30 times. So fairly close. But lately it's, and then when they do get a lead, it's give up goals right away. That's been a problem. But I've said it all along, and I know people laughed about the winning streak, but I felt the winning streak was emblematic of the fact that they could not get any consistency to commitment in their game. And that's continuing.
Sure.
We're almost at 60 games. And no one can tell me straight face that the Oilers have found consistency to commitment on a night-to-night basis.
No. They're listen, watching Leon, and everybody's seen that clip, I'm sure. He's back to, that level of exasperation that we have seen the last couple of years in late November, when they're all saying, hey, look, we're 25 games in. It's time to get this thing going here. We've watched it before, but now we're 60 games in. And make no mistake, as Draisaitl said, we're not the same team we were last year. We're not even close, was his quote. Not even close. Now, let's dissect that. Does that mean that he's saying we've got a bunch of the same guys and we're not playing as well? Does that mean he's saying the GM has left us with a team that's nowhere near as good as we were last year? I don't know exactly what that means, but the end result is, in Leon Draisaitl's opinion, this team isn't even close to being as good as it was last year. And, I wrote this today, and I don't know if I agree with it, but I wrote it. We have heard this for 2 years running, not this late in the season, but for each of the last 2 seasons. I remember hearing voices telling me, the Oilers, their defense isn't good enough. They're not deep enough up front. Their goalies aren't good enough. There's no way. They're just not as good as Dallas. They can't make it through. And they went to 2 cups. So here we are again. We're hearing this again, and I'm saying it. I'm not disagreeing. I don't like the way they look. I don't like the way they're playing. I don't like their construction. Their goaltending is probably, if anything, worse. So I'm saying it. I'm not blaming others. But we have been saying this for 3 years in a row. And in 2 of those years, they did go to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, but that's 2 different things. Okay, like Leon Draisaitl just said, we're not close to the team right now that they were last year. Now, they did go there last year, but if they keep playing like this, they won't. So it's valid to say they got to play better. And there's no guarantee that they can just snap their finger and poof, magically.
Well, there's no guarantee. But I guess what I'm saying to you is the last 2 years, they figured it out. That's all. Right now, maybe this year's roster can't do
teams, though, right? Different, lots of different players, lots of guys gone from last year's team, right? Yep. Skinner's gone, Pickard's gone, Kulak's gone, Brown's gone, Arvidsson's gone, Perry's gone. So it is different guys. Now,
totally different guys. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be better when it gets there, but the way they're playing right now, it's not like I have no idea if Stastny can play well in the playoffs. I've never seen him there. I have no idea if Jari can play well in the playoffs. We don't know if Ingram can play well in the playoffs, right? There's definitely some questions because last year's team, Corey Perry had played good in the playoffs before. Connor Brown had played well in the playoffs. Brett Kulak had played well in the playoffs every year, right? So even Stuart Skinner, he had some dips, but he also had some good games. You got a lot of guys you don't know, right? Matt Savoy's never played in the playoffs, right? So we don't know. So that's
a lot of inexperience. When the playoffs start here, there's a lot of inexperience. Like, that's why for one, I mean, to me, what we're learning here is the deadline, which is creeping up pretty closely. To me, the priority's got to be a defenseman, right? They need a
right
defenseman.
shot D-man.
Yeah, they need a defenseman to play with Darnell Nurse, I'd say, a right shot D-man. So, and an experienced player, a guy that we're not looking at wondering if he can play in the playoffs. I'm not telling you it's got to be a first pairing guy. Number 4.
Not going to get it.
Four. Give me a good solid number 4. Hopefully settle Nurse's game down because it hasn't been great. And that's where it starts. If you can find a way to squeeze a forward in at the deadline, go for it, Stan Bowman. But there's got to be a defenseman here. It just has to be.
Would Connor Murphy fill that void for you?
Yeah, maybe. I don't mind Connor Murphy's game. Before I gave you a definitive answer, I'd probably phone 5 or 6 people and see what they think of him because they get paid to watch him all the time. But I don't mind that player. What about you?
Yeah, I don't mind his size or anything. I'd have to dig deeper too. I was just going off the top of my head. I'm thinking teams, okay, who's a team that's out of it that has a right shot defenseman who's on an expiring contract, right?
Perfect.
So he's in, but his cap hit, I think, is like 4.4 or 4.5, something like that. So, to make it work, you're going to have to move somebody out for sure with salary, right? So that'll be the question.
Yeah. Well, listen, we get to dig in on that. What do they have after? Did we not say there's 4 games before the trade deadline?
Yeah, they got 4 games. They're on the road: Anaheim, LA, San Jose, and then they got 1 home game against Ottawa on the Tuesday, the 3rd.
And then it's Tuesday, and then the deadline is Thursday?
No, deadline is Friday morning. They play Friday night.
So, there's some time here, and we're going to dig in on it, and the deadline's going to be fun because out east, there's probably going to be more sellers than there is in the west, but there's going to be sellers and sellers we didn't expect. Like, is Winnipeg going to be a seller? Nobody thought they'd be selling.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Right?
Awesome. Spec, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.
Sounds good, Jake.
There you go. That's Mark Spector. The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And hey, we'll set up matchups because matchups are so key in playoffs, Olympics, and more. We'll discuss it on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy. All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
Now, what am I looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow, the pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection, except you probably don't find tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
Once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5 plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Wondering what to get your sweetheart this Valentine's Day? How about the gift of from Metal Supermarkets? They sell it, cut it, and bend it fast. Nothing says love like a sheet of solid steel to last a lifetime, just like your affection. Or you could do the old box of chocolate thing. So predictable. Be better. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy Papa John's delicious butter chicken pizza for only $19.99 for a limited time only. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:30. Rolling through a warm, like really warm Thursday, like double digits hot today in Edmonton. So get your windshield wiper fluid. You will need it. You will need it on the ride home today. Turn your lights on as well. Of course, makes it much easier for everybody. And your rear lights, please. Not just the front ones. Get your rear lights on. That would be nice. Very nice. Now, let's get to our, as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings. You've been thinking about it. Solar for commercial or your home. They do both. Going to help you set up, get some grants so you get no interest loan payments and more from the federal government. And you'll have savings 6 to 8 years, sometimes even quicker. ActionElectrical.net. And coming up on Sunday, Super Bowl 60. We got a rematch. Super Bowl 49, the Seahawks and the Patriots. And from the Pats Chat podcast and NBC Sports in Boston, Michael Hurley joins us. And Michael, I'm sure at the start of the season, there wasn't many Patriots fans who thought that their team was going to go to the Super Bowl this year. It has been a very good season for the Patriots. What for you, and welcome to the show, has been maybe the most surprising part of this season for the Pats?
Yeah, and I would say even after the season started, when they started 1-2, I don't think I could even gone on the Pats Chat podcast and said, "Hey, the Patriots are going to go to the Super Bowl." They would have kicked me off of my own show. So it's nobody saw it coming. I think we all sort of looked at a flushing. You know, they got rid of Gerard Mayo. They bring in Mike Vrabel. He gets rid of half the roster. You're kind of looking, okay, you're looking 2 or 3 years down the line. Maybe you can compete. No one was even thinking they could win the division this year. So I'd say, you know, there's a number of factors up and down the roster, but the biggest, you know, reasons 1, 2, and 3 are Drake May taking steps in year 2 that we thought might take 2 or 3 or 4 years to happen. He was that good. And you'll see, I mean, a lot of people, I don't say this with any judgment or malice in my heart, a lot of people flat out didn't watch the Patriots this year. I don't blame them. They weren't a big draw nationally. So I think a lot of people for the first time come Sunday, they're going to see him. He hasn't been great in the playoffs. I think he has an opportunity to sort of show people what he has been doing all year. So you'll see, oh, that's how they got here. That kid really is that good.
The matchup against the Seahawks defense has been very good. Now, the Patriots have faced some pretty good defenses. What do you see as the biggest challenge? What are the Patriots going to have to do different on Sunday against this Hawks defense to get success?
Yeah, they're going to have to actually score. That's the craziest thing, is the defense has really carried the Patriots through the playoffs to this point. And I don't think you're going to be able to do that when you're going up against an offense as good as Seattle. So the Patriots offense is actually going to have to be effective. It's going to be, you know, like this is not an offense where you have a Jackson Smith and Jigba where you can just lean on him for 10 for 120 and a touchdown or two. They spread it around. And I think that's going to be the key again. There'll be times at halftime where Drake May has 200 yards and a touchdown and 6 different guys have 1 or 2 catches. Like, it's never one guy. It's never volume heavy toward one guy. So I think that needs to be the situation where they've had some tough going. The Chargers were all over Drake May. The Texans were killing him. Denver, Drake May was legitimately bad before the weather and before the hit. So if it doesn't get there, this game could get ugly, but I do think they'll be able to run their offense in a more normal way than they have been in recent weeks.
On the defensive side, you look at, JSN, he lines up all over the field. You can't just have one secondary guy cover him. So you're going to have to do it by committee. It's really hard to do. He might be the smoothest route runner out there right now in the NFL. He's amazing to watch. How do you feel the secondary? What are they going to have to do to try to slow him down?
I've thought about that a lot because Christian Gonzalez is probably one of the best cover guys in the league. I don't know that you can cover Jackson Smith and Jigba, even if you are Pat Surtain, even if you are Christian Gonzalez. He is that good. Like you said, his routes, if he's running an outbreaking route, he's going to give a little shoulder fake at the top of his route that gets his defender to bite on the inside, and then he's wide open and he can catch everything. So I almost wonder if you save Gonzalez for Cooper Kupp, you double Smith and Jigba the best you can with, say, Marcus Jones and some safety help, and you kind of work from there. I think that might be a more effective strategy because I don't know, if you use your best corner on a guy who can still get open, it's not the most effective way. But I think that the simpler answer, if they can get interior pressure on Sam Darnold, they could blow the Seahawks' entire game plan up because Sam Darnold, he can throw on the run. He's not a statue, but he's also not mobile. He's not fast. If you have Milton Williams and Christian Barmore taking advantage of, the soft spot in the Seattle line, which is in the interior, then I think that entire passing game can get disrupted. So I put more pressure on those interior D linemen than I even do the secondary.
Michael Hurley joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, taking a look at the Super Bowl, Patriots and Seahawks from NBC Sports in Boston. And, you talked about Drake May, if I can go back to that. And I've noticed every game in the playoffs, like you said, didn't get a chance to watch every Patriots game this year. But you go back to that Chargers game. He hits Hunter Henry to really push away in that game. Against the Texans, it was Booty. And then in the game where, he wasn't having a very good game, he still had that 28-yard run to set up the game-winning field goal. Is that just something right now that you're kind of being accustomed to? When a game is on the line and you need a play, only in his second year, he's got that ability?
Yeah, he's had some moments this year that, the win in Baltimore in a Sunday night game that was nationally televised where he did take some of those steps. And I think the run that you mentioned last week was so big because he wasn't throwing well. And one thing you hear from defenders, I think it was after the Houston game, defensive players were saying, I didn't know he was that athletic. I didn't know he was that fast. And it's one of those things, he doesn't look like he's running as fast as he is, yet he's outrunning guys pretty much every week. He's outrunning defensive backs. He's outrunning defensive ends and everything. So he has speed that I think is somehow deceptive, maybe because he's upright, maybe because he's not churning his body a certain way, but it is sort of a secret weapon. And that's, I mentioned the interior pressure on the other side. The Seahawks obviously have great interior defensive linemen. If they come through, Drake at least has that ability to turn a sack into a 6, even if it's a 6 or 8 yard gain. If he can run away from it, that can kind of change everything they do. So that's one of the biggest things. Everyone's going to be wanting to throw downfield. Everyone's going to be wanting to throw and be an MVP. But if he can just be an effective runner, I think that's going to change a big part of this game, keep it lower scoring, and keep it close.
I also want to ask you, just with the head coach and Mike Vrabel, obviously Gerard Mayo was there and things didn't go the way they would have hoped. But you're still, the Patriot way. We've heard that talked about so long, going back to what Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady and the culture that they built. Was there any noticeable changes you saw in the offseason with Mike Vrabel and what he brought? Because, I think we all knew he was going to turn the program around. I just didn't think it would be this quick.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So when they hired, well, I don't even need to call it hiring. When they made Gerard Mayo the head coach after, saying goodbye to Bill Belichick, it was almost crazy to see how little of a plan and structure Gerard Mayo had in mind. He didn't know who he wanted on his staff. He didn't know how he wanted to operate. He really was unprepared for the job. And that's why you saw them move on after a year. Whereas Vrabel, I think the biggest thing is this is his second head coaching job. Not many guys get that third chance. You have to be at least very good in your second spot. And so he didn't waste any time. Like I mentioned, turning over the roster, he knew who'd be working for him. He did benefit, I think. I don't know if Josh McDaniels would have been his first choice for OC, but the Crafts love him. I think he benefited from that because you can see what he's doing with Drake May. I think that's a huge factor of May's step forward, is having Josh McDaniels there. And that lets Vrabel sort of say, there's a 15-year offensive coordinator. I don't have to worry about that side of the ball. And it's that, and it's just, not to be corny or cheesy about it, you can see the personal connections that Mike Vrabel makes with each player. And he's a genuine guy. Like if you've ever had a chance to talk to him or even just watch him talk, he doesn't BS. And I think a lot of the guys on that roster, wherever they're at in life, where they're at with their families, their jobs, their careers, Vrabel can hit them on every spot. He was drafted by the Steelers, didn't play much, ends up going to the Patriots, becoming a star, ends up getting traded away. Like he's been in so many different relatable scenarios to these guys that it just works. And there's no way to say it without being corny, but there has been something special in that locker room this year that just can't be quantified.
Michael Hurley joins us talking Super Bowl 60, Patriots and the Seahawks on Sunday. You mentioned Vrabel, and he seems to come across as a very different approach and style as the Hoodie did, right? Like, and hey, obviously the Hoodie had success, but Vrabel, you got to be who you are, and it's very different. And I know, hey, it's a different era. You got different players, right? Like, not gonna disrespect Brady and say that Drake May is going to be Tom Brady. I'm sure Patriots fans, some of them have said, well, if he wins early, you never know, right? So I get it, but when it comes to Vrabel, he's very passionate. We see it's outgoing. He's a defensive guy. And you look at the Seahawks offense, and we talked a little bit about JSN, but Walker is very talented. And without Charbonnet now, he's going to get the load of the carries all the time. How do you feel the run defense of the Patriots matches up against the run offense of the Hawks?
I think that's been the biggest strength of the Patriots thus far in the playoffs, the way they've just smothered opposing running backs. I think Houston was the biggest case. I want to say Woody Marks had 19 yards in that divisional round game, and it just allows the defensive backfield, allows the pass rushers to just go off. However, everyone was focused this week on Drake May's injury and shoulder and all that. Robert Spillane, not someone who's getting, who's going to talk about Robert Spillane going into the Super Bowl. He's such a significant factor in the run defense, and he hurt his ankle in Denver. He's going to play, but to what level he'll be effective, I'm not sure, because he didn't come back in that game. He was on the sideline, and he is like the key cog. When you have Milton Williams and Robert Spillane in the lineup, they have one of the best run defenses in the league. When either of them are out, it's mediocre at best. So it's a pretty significant factor, and it just frees everything up. Jack Gibbons is their backup. That's been the biggest thing, and the reason it's surprising they're here is because they have no depth. They have no depth really anywhere except defensive line. So one injury, and it's no matter the spot, you're like, oof, that could be devastating. So that could be, Kenneth Walker could be sort of, if you're mapping out your players who could significantly change this game, I would make him that factor just because of what an injured or absent Spillane could be for the Patriots.
What's your prediction?
I think the Patriots are being overlooked a little bit. If you look nationally, there's just a lot of, like I said, people that haven't watched them. I think they're going to put up a fight. I've covered a lot of Patriots Super Bowls to know better than to pretend I know what's going to happen in the fourth quarter of these things. There's been some between 28-3 between the last Patriots Seahawks one, mayhem. So I think it should be close. Like, anyone worried about a blowout or anything like that, I think you can settle in, and it should be a good game. It should be competitive. It should be low scoring ish, low 20s. So I have it somewhere in that 24-20, 24-21. Which team's going to win? I don't know. I'll go the Patriots because I'm on here from New England and I don't want anyone to get mad at me. But I know these things can flip on the craziest of plays in the fourth quarter, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, man. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you. And I just want to add, I'm glad you told people to put their headlights on, because probably my most controversial take is if you are driving around with them off, just one night in jail. You'll never forget again. I'm sorry if that's controversial, but that's just my take.
Jeez, buddy. It is a big issue here, man. I'm stunned by how many people don't have their lights on. It blows my mind.
One night in the clink and you'll never forget again.
That's probably true, actually. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Michael coming off the top rope at the very end there. I like it. Ooh. I'm a big believer that if we had a little bit more consequences to our actions, we might have better actions. Just saying.
I want to steal that for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's true.
Night in the clink.
People running the jail might be saying, hey, wait a sec. But it would be interesting. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on a busy Thursday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
These days, it's all about who you know. And that's why it's the perfect time to save at the Bricks Friends and Family Sale. Upgrade your living room in time for the big game and score free delivery on TVs over 50 inches, like a Samsung 85-inch 4K smart TV for just $999. And save up to $1,200 off sofas and sectionals. And mix and match. Save up to $1,000 off 2 or more major appliances. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in Edmonton South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side on 137th, and downtown near the Ice District.
Measles is very dangerous during pregnancy, increasing the risk of many severe health-related complications. If you're planning to become pregnant, make sure you have received 2 doses of the vaccine at least 1 month before conception. Don't get measles, get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. This is the time of year people make their New Year's resolutions. If they're lucky, they'll keep that up till February. So I propose another resolution. This year, resolve to be camp ready. Now, what do I mean by that? At No Bull RV, camp ready means never wondering if your RV will be ready for May long weekend. You know it'll be ready because you made the decision back in the winter. You know, now.
Is Camp Ready something I can get from No Bull RV?
That's right, Bob. Camp Ready is our 12-month RV maintenance plan. It includes winterization in the fall, startup in the spring, roof assessments every year, and all your scheduled maintenance. So when you want to get to the great outdoors, you already know you're Camp Ready.
How do I get to be Camp Ready, Rick?
We're starting small, Bob. Just 29 Camp Ready plans are still available at No Bull right now.
And that's No Bull. NoBullRV.ca.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.548, we roll through, wrapping things up on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, and sports. You name it, they got it. PlayAlberta.ca, the daily grand tonight, $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, $7.3 million. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Want to stay warm all winter? Do it with Legacy. Legacy Heating.ca. Of course, Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. He's always wanted to be in radio. Now, through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute.
The C word. The infamous C word. No, not that one. Or that one. I'm talking about the one that sneaks into conversations, especially in sports locker rooms, where emotions run high and tape balls fly faster than Gregor dodging one to the eye. How's the vision, Gregor? Wednesday night's 4-3 loss to Calgary was a beauty, wasn't it? Not the game, mind you, but the post-game sermon from Leon Draisaitl. 2 minutes and 14 seconds of pure, unfiltered truth. No yelling, no tantrums, just a calm, measured assessment of the team's current state. Spoiler alert, it's not great. Draisaitl dropped a few gems, including the delightful word lollygag. When was the last time you heard that in a hockey presser? But the real headline grabber was his subtle nod to the C word. No, not coaching, though he did mention that everyone, including the coaches, needs to be better. That sent a few folks into a tizzy, didn't it? Relax, no one's getting fired. The C word I'm talking about wasn't even spoken. It was louder than words, though. It was in his tone, his body language, his every pause. You know the one. The 4-letter word. The one that makes or breaks teams. Care. Leon Draisaitl cares. You could hear it, clear as a bell. He cares about the team, the fans, the game. And that, my friend, is the C word that matters most. 2-minute warning, Gregor. Hallie Kruger. And speaking of C words, Kruger's favorite is coffee. Mine? Comedy. Or maybe chaos. I'm Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
There you go. You look at the Oilers, commitment is definitely something that they're going to need more of. Consistent commitment. Are they capable of it? In the past, yes, but that's the past. I can't say for sure certain it'll happen in the future. I think they believe it will, but until it does, it'll be a question. I had zero issue with what Leon Draisaitl said because I don't think he called anybody out. I thought he was very calm. He was very controlled. He was very direct. And he just spoke the truth. Our leaders need to be better. Our coaches need to be better. Our goalie needs to be better. We got to be way better in front of them. All true. All true. Penalty kill, better. Like the penalty kill for 53 games, was top 10 in the NHL. It was 10th at 80.9%. It's pretty good. And then in a span of 5 games, it just came crashing down. They've allowed 9 power play goals in their last 5 games. They've only been shorthanded 14 times. 9 for 14. And in one of those games, they didn't allow a goal. Like against Washington. Right? The Ducks scored 3. Washington scored none. Then Mini went 2 for 3. Toronto, 2 for 2. Flames, 2 for 3. Like, not good. Not good at all. And to just, like, you can have a bad stretch of 1 or 2 games, but to be 35% on your penalty kill over a 5-game stretch, like, come on. And it's cost them games. There's no question it's cost them games. It's hard to win, even when you got a power play that good, that you're going to give up 2 power play goals a game. Right? It's really hard to win. Really, really hard to win. So, a few other texts flying in as we wrap up the show, 833-401-1440. Gregor, you mentioned earlier the numbers on McDavid and Draisaitl. What are Draisaitl's numbers away from McDavid this year? Well, so together, Draisaitl and McDavid have played 286 minutes. Actually, it's a little bit. I want to get exactly. It's a little bit even more than that together. So not a ton, right? But still, fair margin. It's 292 minutes together. And 6 of those minutes they had Nugent Hopkins didn't do anything. But in their 292 minutes when they're on the ice together, 16 goals against, 17 goals for. So they outscored them by 1. Draisaitl in 609 minutes away from McDavid, the majority of his time. 35 goals for, 26 goals against. McDavid in 688 minutes away from Draisaitl, 35 goals for, 32 goals against. Now, the goals against have been high, and we can talk about goaltending in some of those, yes, but defensive play in a lot of those, not good, right? Like, not great at all. So, like McDavid, for those who love the PDO, McDavid's .998. It's pretty much right there. So you can't even say that it's been terrible goaltending. It's not. So they simply need to be better. As far as the coach deploying them, stop putting them together all the time. It's not working this year. And I think your team is better off. Think about an opposing team who has to say, oh, McDavid's line, now Draisaitl's line. It's just different than saying, oh, McDavid, Draisaitl together. You can load up and say, hey, guys, we can break even here. So Chris Knobloch's got a few weeks. That's where he has to change. On behalf of Connor Hanley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. If you missed any parts of the show, YouTube, you can watch it there, or just download the podcast or go to jasongregor.com for individual interviews. We'll have lots more in the Olympics, the Super Bowl, some NHL, and more tomorrow. Let's get to the comment. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Where? Stop in, right? Cons, you okay over there? Holy cow. Something almost fell over. But right now, you can fall in love with a Buick for the month of February. You can lease a 2026 Buick Envision all-wheel drive, 0 down, $265 bi-weekly payments. And that includes GST. Northgate.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
And confirm we are good over here. Hockey Canada announced that Braden Point has been ruled out for the games in Italy and will be replaced by Hurricanes forward Seth Jarvis. Jarvis represented Canada at the Four Nations face-off last year. He's got 25 goals, 43 points in 48 games this season. His Hurricanes, after 20 minutes, up on the Rangers, 1-0 elsewhere. Penguins have a 2-1 lead over the Sabres, and Devils Islanders scoreless, as are the Flyers and Sens. Caps up on the Preds 2-0. Tom Wilson with his 23rd of the year, and the Lightning up on the Panthers 1-0 midway through the first. Only one more game tonight. Golden Knights games 8 o'clock from Vegas. Canadian curlers Brent Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman succeed in their first true test and mixed doubles to winner games, defeating Norway 6-3 and Italy 7-2 earlier today. In the association, the Raptors up on the Bulls 23-11 in the first. Elsewhere, Wizards have a 50-31 lead over the Pistons midway through the second, and the Nets trail the Magic 42-25 in the second. From the Major League Baseball arbitration, American League Cy Young Award winner Tariq Skubal winning his case. He'll earn $32 million next season. The award is $13 million more than the Tigers originally argued.